Hi everyone, please subscribe to my channel. Blood Immortal Venerable, see playlist for other chapters and novels. Join now our Telegram channel now and enjoy exclusive early access. t.me/blood_immortal_official. I do not translate the novels. Credits goes to original translator and author of the novel. I only make it as an audiobook so it would be easier to just listen while doing other things. Credits goes to the author of the novel. I convert stories to audiobook for mental health, for multitasking purpose, for accessibility and time saving. Listening to audiobook is also beneficial for people who have disability. It improves our listening skills and improve our English comprehension, vocabulary and other things. So, thank you for listening. Thank you and thank you very much for your support. Chapter 621 Yitian is here. Open black lens bracket 1 more close black lens bracket. Although the rules of the Twilight Forbidden Land restrict the entry of powerhouses at the galaxy level and above, it also restricts the growth of the killing demon soldiers. In the forbidden area of Twilight, the energy limit of slaughtering demon soldiers can only reach the limit of the Great God level, and can only grow in other aspects, such as increasing its speed, defense and restraint ability, or increasing other strange abilities. But no matter how it increases, the strength of the slaughtering demon soldiers cannot reach the level of His Royal Highness. At most, it is second only to His Highness. Certainly, some slaughtering demon soldiers may be comparable to His Highness the Supreme Rank in speed, or comparable to His Highness the Supreme Rank in a split-second burst. If such demon slaughtering soldiers gather together, it is enough to threaten a Supreme Rank His Highness. However, the demon slaughtering soldier that Yitian had just encountered was just a not-so-powerful demon slaughtering soldier, completely out of Yitian's hands, not even interested in research. After killing this demon-killing soldier, Yitian accelerated and flew towards the direction of the Mother Dragon's blood jade pendant. Along the way, Yitian kept encountering some slaughter demon soldiers, and they all killed them in seconds. After half an hour, almost, Yitian sensed it through the Mother Dragon's blood jade pendant, and found that the induction between the Mother Dragon's blood jade pendant and the Child Dragon's 29 blood jade pendant was getting stronger and stronger. This shows that the distance between the two is rapidly approaching, and the distance is not very far. Somewhere at dusk, a dragon girl with golden horns was fighting at the gate of a dilapidated temple. Outside was a dense mass of slaughtering demon soldiers, but the one who commanded the slaughtering demon soldiers was not a slaughtering demon soldier, but a real life. There is actually an innate god in the forbidden area at dusk, and it is a slaughtering god. Damn, his divinity has the same root as these slaughtering demon soldiers, so he can control some slaughtering demon soldiers. One-on-one, I have hope from this slaughtering god. Run away, but there are too many slaughtering demon soldiers here, I have no hope of rushing over. The dragon girl frowned. She is trapped now. If these demon-killing soldiers feared this temple and did not dare to enter here, otherwise she would have fallen and died. But even so, she couldn't hold on for long. She knew very well why these demon-killing soldiers dared not enter this temple, because it was an abandoned temple of the Dragon Clan, and non-Dragon Clan members were forbidden to enter. But this temple was very dilapidated, and the formation slowly began to collapse under the constant impact of these slaughtering demon soldiers. Once the formation of this temple of the Dragon Clan disappeared, it would be an ordinary temple, and these demon-killing soldiers would no longer fear the temple, and would rush in directly. By then, she will be in danger. Suddenly, she sensed that the dragon blood jade pendant on her body began to vibrate. Zilong's blood jade pendant is shaking, could it be? The dragon girl was excited. Under normal circumstances, the child dragon's blood jade pendant will not appear abnormal and cannot sense the position of the mother dragon's blood jade pendant, but if the mother dragon's blood jade pendant is very close to the child dragon's blood jade pendant, the child dragon blood jade pendant can also be sensed. The position of the mother dragon's blood jade pendant, and a shocking vision was emitted. At this time, the child dragon's blood jade pendant was shaking, indicating that the mother dragon's blood jade pendant was approaching her. Father is here. The dragon girl had this idea, but she quickly shook her head. Her father is the Supreme. If the Supreme dares to step into the forbidden area of Twilight, it is equivalent to confronting the entire forbidden area of Twilight. This will not only save her, but will harm her. Therefore, it is impossible for her father to come to the forbidden area of Twilight, and even prevent other supreme beings from entering the forbidden area of Twilight. It should be the father who sent people to the forbidden area at dusk, but the forbidden area at dusk allows at most great gods to enter. My strength is one of the best among the dragon gods. Could it be that my father sent a large number of dragon god level geniuses to break into the dusk forbidden area or carry them with me? A powerful treasure. 1. The dragon girl thought. Although she believes that the comers may not be able to be saved, it is also a hope. She didn't want to fall here, even if there was a glimmer of hope, that would be good. Coming, the dragon girl knew through the child dragon's blood jade pendant that the person holding the mother dragon's blood jade pendant had come here. Swish, she glanced at the past, and saw a figure appeared in the distance, rushing over at an extremely fast speed. That's a human being. The dragon girl was surprised. Not far away, Yi Tian came here, his divine sense glanced around, and he saw Jin Shan, a dragon girl surrounded by a large number of slaughtering demon soldiers. Hey, real life. Yi Tian also found the innate god, and found that the other party's eyes were also looking over. Eye to eye, Yi Tian quickly discovered the identity of this innate god, and the aura of innate divine power on his body was too strong, and he didn't hide it at all. The innate gods should be the congenital gods born in the forbidden area of Twilight. They possess the power of slaughter and seem to be able to control some demon-slaying soldiers. No wonder these demon-slaughtering soldiers are so united. Without this innate god, these demon-slaughtering soldiers would not be possible. Will unite to deal with the little princess Jin Shan of the dragon clan. Yi Tian thought to himself. Kill him. The innate gods discovered Yi Tian, and ordered a part of the slaughtering demon soldiers to kill Yi Tian. The dragon clan girl saw that Yi Tian came alone, and it was certain that the mother dragon's blood jade pendant was on Yi Tian's body. Why did the king find a human to come to save me, and there is only one person, and the strength may not be as good as mine, now there is absolutely no hope. Jin Shan, a girl from the dragon race, said in despair. But the next moment, she was stunned. I saw Yi Tian slashed out with one sword, and all the slaughtering demon soldiers who besieged him were slaughtered to pieces. Puff puff. A slaughtering demon soldier fell down, unable to stop Yi Tian's footsteps at all. At this time, the innate deity panicked. You can't even know, definitely surpassing him. If Yi Tian killed him, he would not necessarily be an opponent. But he still has cards. Rush over and blow yourself up. The innate gods commanded. The slaughter demon soldier is also a human-shaped weapon, which can self-detonate to produce an explosive shock that exceeds its own full-strength attack. If a large group of slaughter demon soldiers self-detonate, it is enough to form a terrifying explosive shock. Normally, he would be reluctant to do so. He is not able to control a slaughtering demon soldier at will, but finds a slaughtering demon soldier that matches his attributes, and then uses special means to control the opponent. These slaughtering demon soldiers were accumulated by him over the long years, and naturally he was reluctant to lose them. But now, Yi Tian's strength made him fear, he had to do this. Shish. A large number of slaughtering demon soldiers rushed over, and when they approached Yi Tian, they blew themselves up one by one. Boom! The terrifying aftermath shook this area, and even the dragon temple began to tremble, and the formation on the temple also dissipated at an extremely fast speed. In a blink of an eye, the formation of the temple disappeared. Chapter 622 World Origin Stone. Second update. Not good. The face of the dragon girl Jin Shan changed dramatically. The temple formation disappeared, and the slaughtering demon soldiers were able to rush in. As for Yi Tian, although she thought Yi Tian's strength was very strong before, Yi Tian might not be able to survive the self-destruction of so many demon-killing soldiers just now. If Yi Tian died, she would be finished. The only good news is that the target of that innate god is Yi Tian, so for the time being, the slaughter demon soldiers have not been allowed to attack her. Now, it is just to determine whether Yi Tian is still alive. Boom! A powerful breath came from the center of the explosion. Then, a large number of slaughter demon soldier fragments flew out. Innate gods, these slaughtering demon soldiers are too weak to threaten me, and even if they all self-destruct, there is no way to break through my defenses. Yi Tian walked out with a knife, but he didn't have any injuries. Obviously, these demon-killing soldiers can't hurt Yi Tian. At this time, the innate god was dumbfounded, and his eyes showed fear. You are very strong, I admit defeat, I am willing to give you some treasures, we don't need to fight each other. 1. Said the gods, kill you, and your treasures will naturally be mine. Yi Tian said with a smile. Swish, the innate gods tried to escape, and those slaughtering demon soldiers were controlled by him to stop Yi Tian. However, he far underestimated Yi Tian's strength. Space imprisonment, the void is like a swamp in an instant, making it difficult for the innate god to fly away. Tianyu knife, go to hell. Tianyu Dao Qi pierced through the space and instantly penetrated the innate god. The next moment, the innate god turned into a corpse and fell to the ground. Although those slaughtering demon soldiers lost their control, they also recovered their own nature and still attacked towards Yi Tian. Boom boom boom. Yi Tian killed a group with one knife, and quickly smashed these slaughtering demon soldiers to nothing. After killing these slaughtering demon soldiers, Yi Tian walked to the corpse of the innate god and took away the space storage equipment of the innate god. As for what treasures are inside, he doesn't have much time to check it now. Swish! Yi Tian teleported to the side of the Dragon Clan girl, the little princess Jin Shan, and said, "You are the Dragon Clan's little princess Jin Shan, right?" Jin Shan stared at Yi Tian curiously and fearfully, and asked in a low voice, "Who are you? Did my father come to rescue me? I sensed the Mother Dragon's blood jade pendant on you, and the Mother Dragon's blood jade pendant has always been with me, in the hands of the king." "Not bad," Yi Tian admitted. "It is indeed your father who asked me to save you, but I just made a deal with your father. As for who I am, it doesn't matter if I tell you, I am the highness of 10,000 laws from the human race. Come on, I'll take you out." "Human race, your highness Wanfa." Jin Shan's pupils shrank sharply. As a great god level, she naturally heard of His Highness Wanfa of the human race, and even often heard of His Highness's achievements from the high-level officials of the dragon race. The Dragon Clan even commented that it is very likely that His Highness Wanfa has become a supreme-level highness, and it is definitely not an ordinary supreme level, and even among the supreme-level highnesses, it is extremely powerful. She thinks that her strength is one of the best among the dragon race gods, but if it is compared with a supreme highness, it is too different. No wonder you can swept away those slaughter demon soldiers. Jin Shan secretly thought, "Your Highness Wanfa, can we not leave the forbidden area at dusk first?" Jin Shan asked. "No," Yi Tian said solemnly. "I have limited time, but I don't have time to stay in the forbidden area at dusk. I must take you back to the Dragon Clan Golden Blood Ancestral Dragon Hall, otherwise, if there is an accident, I can't explain it." Jin Shan twitched and didn't speak for a long time, and seemed to be hesitating or tangled. Suddenly, Jin Shandao, His Royal Highness Wanfa, "In fact, this time I entered the Twilight Realm is not willful, but I know a big opportunity. I just didn't want to reveal it to other highnesses of the Dragon Clan, so I came down with a group of elite god-level men. No thinking of the danger in the forbidden area at dusk is beyond my imagination, all my men have fallen, and even most of my life-saving treasures have been consumed. But if I don't get that big opportunity, I am really not reconciled. I can promise, if His Highness Wanfa helps me, how about we share this opportunity equally?" "What chance?" Yi Tian asked calmly. "Original stone of the world." Jin Shandao. "What? Originium of the world, is it true or false?" Yi Tian was moved. "The world origin stone is almost useless to the rulers and supreme beings, it is just a pile of useless stones, but to the great gods, it is very precious, and can even be said to be priceless. A great god level impacting galaxy level needs to open up the world of Dantian, and the world opened up is divided into quality, and the Dantian world opened up by general god level is very ordinary. If you use special things, you can improve the quality of the world. For example, Yi Tian's ancient chaotic tree, or the tree of the world, etc., have the effect of opening up the world and improving the quality. And the world originates from the treasures of world quality, which can solidify the foundation of the world, increase the background of the world, and make the world of Dantian indestructible. According to rumors, if some worlds use a lot of world origin stones, they can even attack the Supreme without destroying them. But the world originium is also extremely cherished, 1 or 2 is useless, and there are so many people who are at the galaxy level, it is almost difficult to save any world originium. Just like the human race, there are countless great gods who need the source stone of the world. Even with his status, it is difficult to get many source stones of the world, and the source stone of the world is not very useful to him. If you want to get a lot of world source stones, you can only rely on your own luck." "How many originiums are there?" Yi Tian asked. "A lot," Jin Shan said. "It's enough for both of us, but it's very dangerous there. I might not be able to do it alone, so I have to rely on you." "How did you find out about this news?" Yi Tian asked again. "Actually, this secret is not a secret in the eyes of the Dragon Clan, but the forbidden area at dusk is very dangerous. If the Dragon Clan sends a large number of great gods to mine, it will suffer serious losses. I read it from the secret archives of the father and the king. I thought that with my own strength and the protection of a large number of guards, I should have the hope of getting the source stone of the world. Now it seems that it is very necessary for the Dragon Clan to block this secret, otherwise other His Royal Highnesses will definitely not listen to the dissuasion and come in, just to obtain a large amount of world origin stone." Jin Shan told the truth. "That's what it is." Yi Tian understood. All in all, this little princess Jin Shan thinks too much of her own strength and is a little overconfident. "Okay, I can accompany you, but I want 70% of the world's source stone, otherwise the cooperation will be cancelled. Yi Tian said. What? 70%? Jin Shan frowned tightly. Yi Tian asked for 70%, then she could only get 30%, and 30% of the world's source stones was too little. But if she doesn't agree, how dare she go? She now knows the danger of the forbidden area at dusk. If she goes there, she will almost certainly die. Okay, I promise. Jin Shan nodded in agreement. Okay, then you lead the way. 1. Yi Tian said with a smile. He felt that this transaction was very cost-effective. After all, he could obtain a large amount of the golden lazuli from the dragon clan, and he also hoped to obtain a large amount of world origin stone. If he obtains a large number of world origin stones, he can improve the quality of Dantian world to a very high level. If you get other opportunities, maybe you can take another step. In short, the more treasures that can improve the quality of the world, the better. Immediately, to get it, Jin Shan left here with Yi Tian and went to the depths of the forbidden area at dusk. Along the way, the two encountered many slaughtering demon soldiers, but they were all easily solved by Yi Tian. When walking somewhere, Jin Shan suddenly said, His Royal Highness Wanfa, according to the information of the Dragon Clan, there will be undead creatures in the front area. The undead creatures are some broken souls trapped here, and after long years of evolution, it is integrated with the corpse to form a different kind of life. The realm of these undead creatures is at the level of the great gods, but their bodies are the corpses of some galaxy level, universe gods and even masters in the past. It is very likely that there are very few part of the power remains, and some undead creatures can explode with terrifying combat power in a short period of time, which is a more terrifying existence than the slaughtering demon soldiers. Before, I didn't care about it. It can be seen that I realize the strength of the slaughtering demon soldiers. I feel that these undead creatures, I'm afraid it will be difficult. Leave it to me. Yi Tian was very confident, so he walked in front, while Jin Shan followed behind, cautiously, lest he would be sneak attacked by the undead creatures. Not long after walking, Yi Tian frowned and looked at a certain place. There should be an undead creature coming over. Hearing Yi Tian's words, Jin Shan became nervous. Chapter 623 The talent of the poison curse is powerful. One more. Boom. A skull dragon flew from a distance at high speed. With a dark body, it was an undead creature transformed from a black dragon's corpse. Its aura is very powerful, many times stronger than the general great god level, and even the previous slaughtering demon soldiers are not as good as this skull dragon. It's the bone dragon formed after the death of the universe god Black Dragon. Jin Shan immediately recognized the origin of the bone dragon and said quickly. The corpse of the Black Dragon, the god of the universe. Yi Tian muttered. Due to the restrictions of the universe rules, it is difficult for the powerhouse above the god level to improve the physical strength. The physical body of the universe god seems to be no different from the great god level, but in fact the difference is very big. First, the physical bodies of the two, one is immortal, and the other is limited in lifespan. In terms of life level, the universe god is a pseudo-fourth order life, while the great god is at most a pseudo-third order life. The defense ability of the corpse of the universe god Black Dragon is very strong, and the recovery ability is also very strong, not comparable to the great god level. In addition, the bones of this skull dragon are very likely to contain the dragon power of the Black Dragon of the universe god. Even if the remaining remains do not move, and the bone dragon is difficult to control this power, once it erupts, it can also form a terrifying impact. In addition, this skull dragon still has a faint cosmic pressure, and 010 will also form a huge pressure on the great god level, making it difficult for the great god level to exert its powerful strength. At this time, Jin Shan was affected. She was originally from the Dragon Clan, and although she was a Golden Dragon Clan, her bloodline was noble, but she was still unable to resist the dragon might at the level of the cosmic god. Therefore, when the skull dragon arrived, the faint mighty cosmic dragon made her face pale. Give it to me, Yi Tian said lightly. Immediately, he shot 6 chaos palms. A 6-fingered palm appeared in the void, and each finger contained the power of one, and the power of the 6 paths circulated, forming the terrifying repressive force of the 6 paths of reincarnation, coupled with the power of the chaos Tao, making the 6 paths of reincarnation palm become an incomparably terrifying divine tome secret technique. Boom! The Lu Dao chaos palm suppressed it, and the skull dragon fought hard to resist, but its power was suppressed by the Lu Dao, and it couldn't exert it at all, and it couldn't even escape. Roar! A black light appeared from the bone dragon, which was the power of the universe god, and it burst out at this moment. It is a pity that this power has gone through a long period of time, and it is no longer as strong as it was at the beginning. Now it can only deal with other great gods, and it cannot shake the son of the era like Yi Cjfitn. Kaka kaka. In an instant, the bone dragon was smashed by Yi Tian's 6 chaos palms, and the fragments splashed everywhere. After smashing with a palm, Yi Tian said, "Little Princess Jin Shan, let's move on." Good. Jin Shan nodded shyly. Although she had already seen the power of Yi Tian, she was still extremely shocked when she saw that the bone dragon transformed by the universe god Black Dragon was killed by Yi Tian in seconds. Too strong. She can't even know how much Yi Tian's ultimate combat power is, and finally understands why those high-level leaders in the clan praise the human race's highness of 10,000 laws so much. One person and one dragon move on. In the depths of the forbidden area at dusk, there were many undead creatures, and once again they even encountered an army of undead, all of which were composed of the bones of ferocious beasts. Although Yi Tian is confident that he can fight recklessly with the undead army, after all, his strength is infinite, and he is supported by the ancient world of chaos, so he is not afraid of running out of strength. But in order not to waste time, Yi Tian still took Jin Shan to detour to prevent being trapped by these undead army. Finally, Yi Tian and Jin Shan arrived at the destination, which is the place where the source stone of the world is located. Your Highness Wanfa, this is it. Jin Shan pointed to a river not far ahead, said. Yi Tian looked over and quickly discovered that this river was not a real river, but a blood river. From this blood river, Yi Tian actually sensed a trace of threat. Although there was only a trace of it, it was enough to prove that this place was very dangerous. Little Princess Jin Shan, do you know the origin of this blood river? Yi Tian asked. Jin Shan said the information she obtained from the classics. I know one thing, it is said that in ancient times, there was a civil war between fierce beasts, countless beasts died, and a lot of blood flowed here, forming a blood river. And the blood river was born. There is a special creature, the blood beast. This blood beast depends on the blood river. As long as it is in the blood river, its power is almost never exhausted, and it is difficult to kill. It is said that there are many blood beasts in the blood river. As for how many there are, I don't know too well. Originally, I prepared some special weapons, specially aimed at blood beasts, carried by my guards, and those guards dealt with these blood beasts. Unexpectedly, those guards just entered the Twilight Forbidden territory soon died to protect me from the battle. The source stone of the world should be at the bottom of the blood river, right? Yi Tian asked. Jin Shan nodded. You are waiting outside the river of blood. If you enter the river of blood, I'm afraid I won't be able to take care of you. Yi Tian said seriously. It is good. Jin Shan nodded helplessly. In the dragon clan, her strength is one of the best among the great gods. She is usually regarded as a burden by others, but now she seems to be regarded as a burden by Yi Tian. But there is no way, her strength is indeed very weak, it is difficult to enter the bottom of the blood river, and it is easy to be surrounded by a large number of blood beasts and fall. Pipe! Yi Tian flew into the blood river, but just after entering the blood river, a large group of blood beasts rushed over. Yi Tian covered this area with copy talent, and saw the talent situation of a large number of blood beasts. Judging from the talent of these blood beasts, they have a common talent, blood source talent. Obviously, this blood source talent should have something to do with this blood river, and it should be able to draw power from these blood rivers. Otherwise, relying on other talents, there is no way to threaten the peak level like Jin Shan. Son of the universe. It can also be said that without this blood river, these blood beasts are waste. Seeing these blood beasts besieging, Yi Tian released a lot of space blades. Puff puff. Each blood beast was hit by the space blade, and its body was split into many parts, but under the wrapping of the blood river power, it quickly recovered. It's really hard to kill, but I just don't know if you can compete with the poison curse talent. Yi Tian secretly said. Immediately, Yi Tian cast the poison curse talent and released the curse poison on these blood beasts. Soon, the curse poison spread, and blood was the best transmission medium, so many blood beasts were infected with the curse poison. Gradually, green spots began to appear on these blood beasts, and they spread at an incredible speed. In a short time, a large number of blood beasts were completely invaded by the cursed poison, and were transformed into cursed beasts. And Yi Tian can control these poisonous cursed beasts, this is the horror of poison curse talent. However, this is also because these blood beasts are very weak themselves, and they are only so powerful because of the blood river, and the talent of poison curse is their nemesis. Whenever there are blood beasts near me, attack them. 1. Yi Tian gave the order. Chapter 624 Leaving the Forbidden Area at Dusk, The Banquet of the Dragon Clan. Open black lens bracket second update close black lens bracket. With these cursed beasts, Yi Tian doesn't need to worry about other blood beasts. If there are blood beasts approaching, they will be attacked by these poisonous beasts, and the poisonous cursed beasts will also spread, creating more and more poisonous beasts. However, Yi Tian couldn't control these cursed poison beasts forever, nor could he control too many cursed poison beasts. Moreover, the cursed poisonous beasts exist for a very short time. If they are not sealed by special means, these cursed poisonous beasts will soon die. This is also a flaw of the poison curse talent. For example, the poisonous people who met in the Yuangu temple at the beginning were transformed and sealed up, so they could survive for such a long time, otherwise they would have died long ago. Soon, Yi Tian entered the bottom of the Blood River. After some searching, he quickly discovered the fluctuation of the World Origin Stone. Sure enough, there is a World Source Stone, and it's a World Source Stone vein, its value is immeasurable. 1. Yi Tian was quite excited. Not to mention giving him the origin of these worlds alone, dozens of people and hundreds of people are more than enough. Even if he consumes the World Originium content that far exceeds other people's, he will never worry about the World Originium problem. Immediately, Yi Tian began to mine the source stone of the world at the bottom of the Blood River. Time passed slowly, and a few days passed quickly. Beyond the River of Blood, Jin Shan is very worried. She is not worried about Yi Tian's life or death, but about herself. Once Yi Tian fell into the River of Blood, not only would she be unable to mine the source stone of the world, it would even be very difficult for her to get out of the forbidden area at dusk. At the very least, she believed that she did not have the strength to contend against those undead creatures. Your Highness Wanfa, you must not die in the River of Blood. Jin Shan thought. Suddenly, the Blood River surged, and a figure flew out from the Blood River. Jin Shan took a closer look and couldn't help being overjoyed. Your Highness Wanfa. Swish, Yi Tian teleported in front of Jin Shan and said, Little Princess Jin Shan, there is indeed a vein of World Origin Stone below. I have been mining below for a few days, and I have mined all the World Origin Stones in this area. However, this one the Blood River is very long, and there should be some World Origin Stones in other areas, so you need to look for it. Original stone of your world. Jin Shan looked at Yi Tian with some longing, and wanted to stop. Don't worry, 30% of your world's source stone. I don't even bother to be greedy for ink. This batch of mined world source stone, this is for you. Having said that, Yi Tian took out a space ring and handed it to Jin Shan. Jin Shan took the space ring and looked closely. There were a lot of world origin stones in the space ring. 3,182. Jin Shan counted, secretly said. This amount really surprised her. You must know that the Great God rank hits the Galaxy rank. Even if you want to improve the quality of the world, a few hundred pieces are almost enough. Some people with high potential in the world will use thousands of pieces, but now she has obtained a full 3,000 pieces. How many? So many world source stones are enough to raise the world she opened up to the limit of potential. This is a treatment and benefit that other great gods can't imagine. Besides, Yi Tian may be able to mine more world origin stones, and she will be able to obtain a lot of world origin stones at that time. However, when she thought that Yi Tian had more originium in her hands, she felt a trace of envy and jealousy in her heart. If Yi Tian's strength is weak, she doesn't mind snatch. It's a pity, Yi Tian's strength is far beyond her imagination. Yi Tian doesn't occupy her world source stone as very good. How dare she snatch Yi Tian's world source stone? In the days that followed, Yi Tian kept searching for the world originium. After a period of searching, he finally found 2 world originium veins. Afterwards, Yi Tian mined all these world origin stones. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. This day, Yi Tian counted the world origin stones in his hands and found that he had collected 18,201 world origin stones. So many world source stones are far enough for him to use, and even his wife, sister and others can use them. After searching for a few more days, Yi Tian couldn't find the source stone of the world, so he suggested, Little Princess Jin Shan, the source stone of the world is probably gone, we should choose to leave. You have been in the forbidden area for a long time. Your father is probably very worried at the moment. If you continue to stay here, it will be a waste of time, and even make your father even more worried. Number 7. Jin Shan nodded again and again. She had long wanted to leave the forbidden land at dusk, but only stayed for the sake of the world origin stone. Now, she has no shortage of originium stones, so she doesn't want to stay here any longer. Walk. Yi Tian took Jin Shan and crossed all the way. Along the way, no undead creatures or slaughtering demon soldiers could stop Yi Tian, and they were all killed by him. It didn't take long for Yi Tian to successfully take Jin Shan out of the forbidden area at dusk. Outside the forbidden area at dusk, the dragon soldiers who were stationed here found Yi Tian and Jin Shan and came over immediately. I have seen Princess Jin Shan. The dragon soldiers were in awe. Then, a powerful breath came. Boom, an incarnation of the golden blood dragon ancestor descended, and its terrifying aura permeated the surroundings, but it instantly converged. For flowers. Seeing the golden blood dragon ancestor, Jin Shan immediately said excitedly, "Father." And the golden blood dragon ancestor pretended to be angry and said, "You are a girl who knows how to run around. Is the forbidden area at dusk where you can go? Next time you do this again, I will lock you up for 100,000 years. Father, I was wrong, I won't dare next time." Jin Shan lowered her head. Jinzhu Longzhu didn't blame Jin Shan anymore, but looked at Yi Tian. "Your Highness Wanfa, this time is all thanks to you. I wonder if your Highness will have time to stay for a day or two, so I can hold a banquet to thank your Highness." Yi Tian pondered for a while, and then nodded, "Yes. Then I will trouble the golden blood dragon ancestor." In fact, Yi Tian also knew that the golden blood dragon ancestor was showing his favor, not really thanking him. However, if he refused, he would offend the golden blood dragon ancestor a bit. 0.0. When the human race and the dragon race have not yet truly faced off, he naturally does not want to offend one of the three supreme beings of the dragon race. So, he agreed. Wow, the Dark Lord appeared in front of Yi Tian and said, "Your Highness, Master of the Darkness, let's go to the Golden Blood Dragon Star first, and then meet the human race after the banquet." 1. Yi Tian proposed. "Your Highness has decided, I will stay with your Highness for a few more days." The Dark Lord nodded. Not long afterward, Yi Tian and Jin Shan returned to the Golden Blood Dragon Star together. Then, the Golden Blood Dragon ancestor arranged Yi Tian and the Dark Lord to live in an attic. At the same time, Jinzhu Longzhu started to hold a banquet, not only to celebrate Jin Shan's safe return, but also to thank Yi Tian. Since it was not a very high-end banquet, the other two supremes of the dragon ancestor would naturally not come. Basically, they were the guests of the Dragon Clan powerhouses belonging to the Golden Blood Dragon ancestor, as well as some Dragon Clan genius children and so on. This day, the banquet started. Yi Tian sat on the head of the little princess Jin Shan, and many experts from the Dragon Clan came one by one, and the whole banquet was very lively. Dragon is not weak. Yi Tian glanced around and saw quite a few cosmic gods and rulers. Although they were incomparable with the human race, among the higher races, the dragon race was definitely a very powerful race. On the banquet hall, a dragon race true god saw Yi Tian standing high on the summit stage, and was immediately stunned. "It's him, the true god of the Dragon Clan," exclaimed. And Yi Tian also discovered this dragon race true god, smiled slightly, and recognized the identity of this dragon race true god. Long Tianline, I didn't expect him to cultivate to the pinnacle of the true god level, it seems that he has been lucky these years. Yi Tian secretly said. Chapter 625 Long Tianline and #039, S shock. Open black lens bracket 1 more close black lens bracket. Yi Tian was very impressed with Long Tianline. When he was on Earth, Long Tianline led a part of the Dragon Clan to try to occupy the Earth. Although he was defeated in the end, Long Tianline was invincible on Earth at the beginning. It's a pity that Long Tianline is still too weak for Yi Tian later. At the beginning, Long Tianline was not even a genius. However, judging from Long Tianline's current talent and aura, he should have reached the Tianjiao level later, and he has a lot of opportunities, otherwise he would not be able to cultivate to the 9th level of the True God level in such a short period of time. Of course, even Long Tianline of the 9th rank of the True God level is not considered a genius among the Dragon Clan. Long Tianline is standing beside the True God level Golden Dragon, and he should be one of the many guards of that True God. Yi Tian secretly said. Immediately, he stopped paying attention to Long Tianline. After all, a small person like Long 010 Tianline couldn't attract much attention from him, but he had only played against each other before, so he just took a look. The other side, Long Tianline was so shocked that he couldn't recover for a long time. Yi Tian, how could he appear in our Dragon Clan's Golden Blood Dragon Star, and sit with those Dragon Clan bigwigs? Long Tianline was secretly surprised. Out of curiosity, he asked in a low voice the master he is loyal to now, Master Jinlan, that one should be a human race, why did he appear on the territory of our dragon race? It stands to reason that the relationship between our dragon race and the human race should be very bad. Yup. Young Master Jin Lan glanced at Long Tionline and said indifferently, Tionline, you were born in a relatively backward area of the dragon clan, and it is normal for you to be short-sighted. But this human race is not something you and I can provoke. His status is in the human race. They are very tall, and their strength is far beyond our imagination. All I know is that the great god-level royal highnesses of our dragon race are far from being the opponents of His Highness Wanfa, and even the great gods of some great races in the universe, such as the gods and demons in the universe. His Highness, I can't find a character comparable to His Highness Wanfa. It can be said that he is the most powerful god in the universe. What? Long Tionline was stunned. Thinking back then, although he was defeated by Yi Tian at that time was just a genius, and he wasn't the strongest genius, just an ordinary genius. On top of Tianzhao, there is the Sun of the Universe, and at the level of the Sun of the Universe, there are many levels of division. Even the human race is just an ordinary cosmic clan. It is difficult for such a cosmic clan to give birth to a too powerful cosmic child, let alone compared with the cosmic children of the gods and demons. But now, young Master Jin Lan actually said that Yi Tian was the most powerful god in the universe. Such a name is too exaggerated. Young Master Jin Lan continued. The reason why His Highness Wanfa is here is because of the little princess Jin Shan. You should have heard of the little princess Jin Shan. Her strength is one of the best among the great gods of our dragon race. But she entered the forbidden area of Twilight of the Dragon Clan not long ago and fell into it. The great gods of the Dragon Clan entered a lot, but unfortunately they all fell down. In desperation, in cooperation with the human race, His Royal Highness Wanfa entered the Twilight. In the forbidden area, the little princess Jinshan was rescued. Therefore, the golden blood dragon ancestor will hold this banquet. In fact, it is very difficult for me to even have the opportunity to see the crystal blood dragon ancestor, but this time I can meet the golden blood dragon clan. It's a blessing to the human race, His Royal Highness. 1 inch. Long Tionline lowered his head and stopped asking, but the shock and excitement in his heart were indescribable. Once upon a time, Yi Tian was not as good as him, he almost ruled the earth. But in a short period of time, Yi Tian surpassed him. If it wasn't for his grandfather, he might have fallen to the earth. In order to seek stronger strength, he left the area where he lived and came to the core area of the Dragon Clan. By chance, he stepped into the ranks of Tianzhao and rose all the way. I thought I could surpass Yi Tian, but now, in comparison, not only has not surpassed, but the gap is getting bigger and bigger, to the extent that it is incomparable. The banquet lasted for a day, and Yi Tian left the Dragon Clan after the banquet was over. After all, he is His Highness of the human race. If he stayed in the dragon race for a long time, if the dragon race didn't deal with him and other cosmos great races took the opportunity to assassinate him, the dragon race people would not necessarily try their best to protect him. Therefore, it is better to leave the Dragon Clan as soon as possible. Under the escort of the Dark Lord, Yi Tian quickly returned to the Human Race Supreme Hall, and the journey was very safe, and no accident happened. The human race is supreme. The first time Yi Tian came back, he took out some of the glazed golden wave liquid that the Golden Blood Dragon Clan gave him. With so many glazed golden wave liquids, I should be able to make my third layer of Chaos Golden Desolation technique reach the perfect state. Yi Tian thought to himself. Immediately, he turned on the 1000-fold time acceleration, and continued to take the Luli Jinbo liquid to cultivate the Chaos Golden Desolation art. In the blink of an eye, 100 years had passed in the outside world, and Yi Tian had cultivated for a full 100,000 years under the acceleration of time. After such a long time, and with the help of Chaos Golden Wave Liquid, Yi Tian finally cultivated the third level of Chaos Golden Desolate art to a perfect state, and his physical limit increased a lot. So, Yi Tian spent a little more time, constantly tempering the body, and finally raised the strength of the body to the limit, and the strength is much stronger than before. Then, Yi Tian continued to compress the immortal power. Yi Tian found out that the Chaos Golden Desolate art can also assist in compressing the immortal power, and now the third layer of the Chaos Golden Desolation art is complete, allowing Yi Tian to compress the immortal energy a lot faster. This day, Yi Tian received a summons from his wife Xiao Yu. UAA is about to hit the galaxy level. After Yi Tian heard the news, he hurried to the Tianj headquarters in Tianlin Giant City. Tianj headquarters. Yi Tian met Xiao Yu. UAA, are you sure you want to hit the galaxy level? Yi Tian asked. Yeah, Xiao Yu nodded. I have now cultivated to the limit of the great god level, and you have improved and increased my talents many times. My current strength is enough for the average child of the universe, and I will waste time at the great god level. It is difficult to improve how much strength, it is better to attack the galaxy level 5.8. Besides, Tianj always needs a strong person, if there is an extra galaxy level, it can give Tianj some say. Okay, I support you. Yi Tian touched his wife's hair and said. Immediately, he took out some world origin stones. This is the world origin stone, which can make the world you open up better. In addition, it will protect you. After all, it is very important to hit the system level, and there must be any mistakes. Yi Tian took it seriously. Xiao Yu smiled happily. Later, under Yi Tian's arrangement, Xiao Yu conducted a retreat in a Tongtian tower in Tianlin Giant City, which was the most suitable place to attack the Great Realm. Ordinary people are not qualified to come here to attack the galaxy level, and Yi Tian's status is very high, so that Xiao Yu can enter the Tongtian tower. Chapter 626 Lingyun Tianji. Open black lens bracket second update close black lens bracket. Babel Tower top. Xiao Yu began to open up the world of Dantian, and around her, a large number of world origin stones were piled up, the number of which was about 2,000. Yi Tian is not stingy with his wife, he has a lot of originium in the world, and it is not a big deal to take out 2,000. He estimates that his wife should use less than 2,000 yuan. If it is less, he will continue to increase the world source stone. If there is more, he will take it away. Time goes by little, and the process of opening up the world is extremely careful and time-wasting, and it should not be sloppy. Although Yi Tian was worried about his wife, he didn't dare to interfere, everything could only depend on Xiao Yu. If he intervenes, it will cause his wife to be distracted, thus opening up a broken world, which will directly affect his future combat power and cultivation speed. Therefore, he can only guard quietly, unless Xiao Yu really has an abnormal situation, he will intervene. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Boom. A breath of the world passed from Xiao Yu's body. Although Yi Tian has not hit the galaxy level, he is very aware of the situation of the great god hitting the galaxy level, which is clearly a sign that the world of Dantian has been opened up. UAA, quickly absorb the energy of the world's source stone, consolidate the world of Dantian, and improve the quality of the world. Yi Tian transmits sound. Xiao Yu did not speak, but her actions proved that she heard Yi Tian's words. Whoa. Pieces of the world source stone were absorbed and refined by Xiao Yu, and its energy poured into the world of Dantian, which was used to stabilize the world and improve the quality of the world. Over time, the world's originium is constantly being consumed. In this way, Xiao Yu spent a whole day refining the source stone of the world. 1328 World Originium, the potential is okay. Yi Tian commented. Immediately, he waved his hand and put away the remaining world originium. Then, he waited for a few more hours. Xiao Yu slowly opened her eyes and looked at Yi Tian. Husband, I have successfully been promoted to the galaxy level. Come on, let me test your world quality. Yi Tian took out a bead and said. This bead is a world bead specially designed to test the quality of the world, which can accurately test the quality of the Dantian world of the gods. Xiao Yu took the world pearl and mobilized the world power in her body to pour into the world pearl. Soon, the world beads began to take on an abnormal shape, with a faint glow. After a while, a number appeared inside the world pearl. 3. Husband, what do these 3 represent? Xiao Yu was curious. In fact, she doesn't know much about the quality of the world, so she doesn't know much about the division of the world's pearls on the quality of the world. All races in the universe have a detailed division of the Dantian world, from the 9th grade world to the 1st grade world, of which the 9th grade world is the lowest, and the 1st grade world is the highest, which are Shaochen, Daqian and Tianji. Although there are still 3 grades of world quality in the 1st grade world, the small world, the large world and the heaven, it is actually very difficult to surpass the 1st grade world, and even some ancient highnesses may not be able to condense the small 1000 world. UAA, it's amazing that you can condense the 3rd rank world. Yi Tian praised. Hearing Yi Tian's praise, Xiao Yu was very happy. Actually, she doesn't care much about the world of Jipan, as long as Yi Tian is happy. In the next few days, Yi Tian spent more time with his wife and left some resources for his wife by the way. Only then did he return to the Supreme Hall of Human Race and continue to practice. This day, Yi Tian was cultivating, and the Dark Lord took the initiative to see Yi Tian. Your Highness, a great deed. Darkness ruled the road. What good thing? Yi Tian asked. The Master of Darkness smiled and said, I know that your Highness has been compressing immortal power recently, but compressing immortal power is a very time-consuming but tedious practice that you have to do. Especially when your highness is at the limit of the great god level, in order to increase the background, you have to go and compress the immortal power. Although your highness is not worried about the time issue, you should also want to compress the immortal power to the limit as soon as possible, right? Yes, I really want to compress Shanli to the limit. Yi Tian nodded and admitted. Now there is an opportunity to allow His Highness to compress the immortal power to the limit in a very short period of time. Darkness ruled the road. Oh, what chance? Yi Tian became interested. In fact, his time acceleration ability can increase the cultivation speed by nearly 1,000 times, but he is still not satisfied. Others are at his current level and will definitely go to the galaxy level, but he wants to pursue the real limit. But how difficult the real limit is, even with the gift of time. So, he still needs a chance. The Lingyun heavenly realm of the spiritual race is about to open, and the spiritual race is a cosmic clan with the deepest research on energy. The spiritual cloud heavenly realm of the spiritual race is very strange. It can suppress all energies such as God-level divine power and immortal power, and go deep into the Lingyun heavenly realm. If the depth is deeper, the greater the spiritual pressure. Some great gods have even compressed their divine power to a level that is very close to the limit, but they can still compress their divine power again in the Lingyun heaven realm, breaking their own limit. Far more than other 010 great gods, it is even more difficult for His Highness to reach his own limit, and Lingyun heaven realm is an opportunity. The Dark Lord said. Master of the Darkness, according to what you said, Lingyun heaven is the place of the spirit race, can I enter? Yi Tian asked curiously. Yes. The Spirit Clan is actually a peaceful and friendly cosmic clan, and it is good at making friends with other cosmic clans, and this time the Lingyun heavenly realm opened, the Spirit Clan distributed some quotas to the various clans in the universe, and our human race also received 8 quotas. In the past, although our human race can get places, there are only 3 or 4 places at most. It is estimated that the last time, His Highness shined in the world of ruins, crushed His Highnesses of other cosmic clans, and made the human race more famous. On the top, the human race has now transformed into an immortal race, and its strength is stronger, and only 8 places have been won. Darkness ruled the road. So it is. Yi Tian nodded knowingly. Of the 8 places, one of them must have Yi Tian, even other supreme powers would not dare to erase Yi Tian's place. Yi Tian's quota has been decided, but it will take a little time for the opening of the Lingyun heavenly realm. Therefore, Yi Tian has to wait some more days. In the blink of an eye, 3 months have passed. This day, the Human Race Supreme Hall informed Yi Tian that the day to go to Lingyun Heaven has come. Chapter 627 Gambling with His Royal Highness the God Race. One more. This time to the spiritual race, the human race dispatched a celestial venerable, but not the supreme being. After all, the opportunity of Lingyun Heavenly Realm is not important to the entire human race, but it is more important to the 6 great gods of the human race who went to Lingyun Heavenly Realm. If it weren't for the protection of the 6 human race gods who went to Lingyun Tianji, the human race would not even send one of the gods. But these 6 great gods are all very important sons of the universe, and the background behind them is very deep, and none of them can be born. Therefore, it is necessary to send a celestial venerable to the Lingyun Heaven realm, which also shows the importance of the human race. On the human spaceship, Yi Tian met with the other 5 great gods and chatted briefly for a while. These 5 great gods are not the highnesses of the supreme hall of the human race, but the sons of inheritance from the 9 supreme powers. After all, the great god-level highness of the supreme hall of the human race does not actually have a deep background, and it is difficult to obtain a quota to enter the Lingyun Heaven realm. Therefore, the other 5 great gods who can come this time are not necessarily strong, but their backgrounds are definitely deep. From the mouths of these 5 great gods, Yi Tian gradually learned their identities, and they are all descendants of the Supremes. In terms of background, Yi Tian is indeed inferior to these 5 great gods, but in terms of strength and importance, Yi Tian is much stronger than them. Because of this, these 5 great gods did not dare to offend Yi Tian at all, and spoke very politely. A few days later, the spaceship of the human race entered the spirit race, and then temporarily lived in the spirit race's Yongguxing under the hospitality of the spirit race. Yongguxing is a star close to Lingyun Heaven realm. Most of the alien races who want to enter Lingyun Heaven realm will be arranged in Yongguxing. There are still several days before the opening of Lingyun Heaven realm. Yi Tian is hanging out in Yongguxing, and Yongguxing is only worth hanging out in Yongguxuchang. Yonggu Tree City is built on a huge spiritual tree. The scale of this spiritual tree is even comparable to an adult world tree, but it is not a world tree, but an ordinary spiritual tree called a giant tree. The characteristics of this tree are that it is large and has the effect of gathering vitality. Other than that, there is nothing special about it. Because the tree is big and can gather vitality, it is used by the Eldar as the foundation of the city. Cloud Valley Tree City is not bad. If a god-level talent with wood-type talent cultivates here, the cultivation speed is definitely far faster than the outside world. Yi Tian thought to himself. In Yungu Tree City, Yi Tian and the other 5 great gods of the human race looked around and bought some special products of the spirit race. Suddenly, Yi Tian saw a group of Protoss, about 10 people. His Royal Highness Wanfa is the great god of the Protoss, let's avoid it. Yingzan Daozi, the great gods of the 5 human races, said in a low voice. Need not. Yi Tian waved his hand. He knows what Daozi Yingzan is worried about. Their strength is far inferior to these great gods of the gods. In addition, the human race is far from being the opponent of the gods, and it is not appropriate to conflict with the gods of the gods. However, he is not afraid. In terms of strength, he is not afraid of these gods, and these gods are completely unable to represent the entire gods, and they will not provoke a war between humans and gods because of these gods. Besides, there are too many big races in the universe between the Protoss and the human race. The Protoss really wants to attack the human race, but the consequences are not what the Protoss is willing to bear. It turned out to be a friend of the human race. The 10 great gods of the Protoss walked towards Yi Tian. Suddenly, the head of a great god stared at Yi Tian and said, "You should be the human race's highness, right?" "Okay, who are you?" Yi Tian said lightly. "Presumptuous, don't even know His Royal Highness the Heavenly Monarch of our Protoss." Another god of the gods roared. "His Royal Highness, I don't know." Yi Tian pouted. His Royal Highness Tianjin laughed. His Royal Highness Wanfa is known as the first genius in the universe, and it is normal that he does not know me. However, His Royal Highness Wanfa was only dominating during the Emperor level period. How about we fight in Lingyun Heaven Realm once? As for the stakes, 10 original artifacts. His Royal Highness Wanfa, you can't bet with him. Yingzan Daozi hurriedly said. His Royal Highness Tianjin of the Protoss is a great god who has practiced for 300,000 years, and is a descendant of a supreme descendant of the Protoss, with great talent. Although his talent is not as high as that of the rising star of the Protoss, His Royal Highness Tianxuan, after all, His Royal Highness Tianxuan has not really risen, while His Royal Highness Tianjin has fully grown up. It is rumored that His Royal Highness Tianjin has been promoted to His Highness the Supreme, and he will definitely become the Supreme in the future. Now he is in the process of compressing divine power. As long as it is compressed to the limit, he will attack the galaxy level. Your Highness, your talent must surpass that of His Royal Highness the God race, but there is no need to compete with him now. His Royal Highness. Yi Tian smiled in his heart. He would not put a Supreme Highness in his eyes. After all, he is the son of the era. Even the top Supreme Highness is like an ant in his eyes, let alone an ordinary Supreme Highness like His Royal Highness Tianjin. Thank you Yingzan Daozi for reminding me, but a mere His Royal Highness won't put me in my eyes. Yi Tian transmits sound. Yingzan Daozi was startled and looked at Yi Tian in shock. At this time, Yi Tian said to His Highness Tianjin, "I can bet with you, but how can we bet? We can't play against each other in the territory of the spirit race, right?" "Don't argue," His Highness Tianjin said. "We can only go deeper into the Lingyun Heavenly Realm than anyone else. The Lingyun Heavenly Realm is very special and can compress divine power, and the deeper you go into the Lingyun Heavenly Realm, the more terrifying the suppression force. It is rumored that even people from the Spirit Clan have never entered. In the real center of Lingyun Heaven Realm, the pressure there is simply not something that the great gods can bear. If we go deeper than anyone else, then whoever wins will win, how about that?" Yi Tian nodded in agreement. In fact, this bet is not very meaningful, but it can be said to the great gods and the people. When it comes to small things, those who can crush the Protoss or other big races in the universe are willing to see the top of the human race, as long as it's not too much. HMPH, Your Highness Wanfa, don't be rude when you lose, let's go. His Highness Tianjin waved his hand and left with the other gods. When His Royal Highness Tianjin left, Yingzan Daozi said, "His Royal Highness Wanfa, His Highness Tianjin should not be underestimated. His divine power has been compressed to a very high level, and Your Highness Wanfa should only compress your divine power for not too long. The field bet is more of a loss for you. You'll find out in a few days." Yi Tian said lightly, without explaining too much. Perhaps his immortal power is not as compressed as His Highness Tianjin, but Yi Tian's total immortal power is far from being comparable to that of His Highness Tianjin. After all, Yi Tian's physical limit had already reached an incredible level with the enhancement of the 18 golden body art and chaos golden desolate art. Therefore, this is not so much a gamble, nor is it that His Royal Highness Tianjin is giving him 10 original artifacts. Chapter 628 Compressing Immortal Power, Crazy Progress. Open black lens bracket second update close black lens bracket. In a flash, 3 days have passed. At this time, the spiritual clan informed Yi Tian and others to go to the Lingyun Heaven Realm. Lingyun Tianji is about to open. Wow! Together with the other 5 great gods of the human race, Yi Tian rushed to the Lingyun Heaven Realm in the spaceship arranged by the spiritual race. As for the celestial venerable accompanying the human race, it is protected in secret. Soon, Yi Tian arrived at Lingyun continent where Lingyun Heavenly Realm was located. So many great gods. Yi Tian swept around and found a large number of great gods, half of which were the great gods of the spirit race, and the remaining half were the great gods of the various cosmos great clans. Each race had one less and more than a dozen. And the human race has come to 6 great gods this time, and the number is relatively large. Wow! A woman dressed in white suddenly appeared high in the sky, overlooking the many great gods below. If in normal times, someone overlooks these great gods like this, it will definitely arouse their dissatisfaction. After all, the great gods who can come here are all great gods with great status and background. There are a few people who dare to overlook them like this. Even the gods of the universe will stand on the same level and talk to them. But this time, it was a master of the spiritual race. When they came to the spiritual race, they naturally did not dare to be too presumptuous. Listen to all the great gods, I am the spiritual master of the spirit race, and half of the people present are great gods from other races, but since you want to enter the Lingyun Heaven Realm, you must abide by the rules of our spirit race. After Yuntianji, you must not fight. If you violate the back of 010, don't blame our spirit clan to punish those who violate it. In addition, the opening time of Lingyun Tianji is 1 year. After the Ghost Master finished speaking, he disappeared. Then, a huge portal appeared in the void, and this portal was the entrance to the Lingyun Heaven Realm. Go in, the voice of the Ghost Master came. Shish. A great god flew into the portal. The portal is so large that it does not appear crowded. In the blink of an eye, there are not many great gods left on the earth. Let's go in too, Yi Tian said to Ying Zondaozi and others. It is good, Ying Zondaozi and the other 5 nodded. Shish. Yi Tian and the others flew into the space portal and entered the Lingyun Heaven Realm. Lingyun Heaven, a bunch of great gods entered here and gathered together. At the same time, many great gods also sensed the oppression in the dark. This suppression does not act on the body, but acts on the immortal or divine power. What a strong suppression, Yi Tian also felt it. Under the inexplicable suppression of Lingyun Heaven Realm, it is more difficult for one's own immortal power to operate. And this kind of suppression is squeezing the immortal power, making the immortal power more pure. Even if an ordinary great god stays here for a year, his immortal power will be compressed a lot. No wonder Lingyun Tianji has attracted the attention of so many great gods of the universe. This is indeed a rare opportunity for great gods. Land. Yi Tian muttered. However, the pressure of this position is not too strong for Yi Tian, because his immortal power is far stronger than other people's immortal power, and the total amount is also much larger. The pressure of this position alone does not help Yi Tian very much. If he stays here for a year, it will not help much. Therefore, he needs to continue to go deep into the Lingyun Heaven Realm. At this time, not far away, His Highness Tianjin looked over and said, His Highness Wanfa, let's compare, I'll go first. After speaking, His Highness Tianjin flew towards the depths of Lingyun Heavenly Realm. Yi Tian ignored His Highness Tianjin and flew slowly with the other 5 human race gods. Along the way, there are great gods flying at extreme speeds everywhere. But soon, some great gods were forced to stop and could not continue to fly. Because they have reached their limit, they cannot continue to bear the inexplicable pressure. If they continue to move forward, their divine power will not be able to withstand it, and when the divine power explodes, it will directly cause the flesh to burst. Gradually, the other 5 great gods of the human race could no longer move forward, and could only choose a place to silently endure the suppression of Lingyun Heaven Realm to compress the immortal power in their bodies. And Yi Tian continues to move forward, he is far from reaching his limit. As time passed, Yi Tian also went deeper and deeper into the Lingyun Heaven Realm. Not long after CJFI, Yi Tian saw the back of His Highness Tianjin. At this time, His Royal Highness Tianjin was flying very slowly, and it was obvious that he was almost reaching his limit. Your Highness. The trace sent by His Royal Highness, Yi Tian gradually forced himself, she wrinkled 50. Impossible, his cultivation years are short, even if he has the talent of time, according to the data, he has not become a great god for a long time, and the compression of his immortal power is definitely not as good as mine. With his immortal strength, it should be difficult to resist the deeper suppression, and he is estimated to be faster. At the limit, as long as I persist, I can definitely surpass him. His Highness Tianjin secretly said. But soon, his face changed greatly. Because his speed was getting slower and slower, he hardly dared to fly faster, for fear that he would not be able to withstand the pressure all of a sudden, causing the divine power in his body to explode. But the speed of His Highness Wanfa still maintained a relatively fast level, but his face was indifferent, as if he was very relaxed. According to this rhythm, I will lose, His Highness Tianjin thought. Sudden, with a swipe of Yi Tian, he surpassed His Highness Tianjin. His Royal Highness Tianjin, it seems that you are not good enough, remember to give me 10 original artifacts after you go out. Saying that, Yi Tian quickly pulled the Heavenly Sovereign Palace away, causing His Highness the Heavenly Sovereign behind him to look angry and desperate. After a while, Yi Tian opened a long distance. At this time, Yi Tian had forgotten His Highness Tianjin, and now he just wanted to try his limit. In a blink of an eye, a few days passed. At this time, Yi Tian's flying speed was also very slow, and Lingyun Heaven's suppression of immortal power became stronger and stronger, gradually reaching Yi Tian's limit. This day, Yi Tian stopped. He could actually move on for a certain distance, but it was not necessary. Just here, Yi Tian is going to endure the suppression of Lingyun Tianji silently here. And in order to increase the time, Yi Tian opened the time acceleration ability of the time and space talent, and instantly accelerated the time to 1000 times. In this way, Yi Tian can stay in Lingyun Heaven realm for at least 1000 years. With such a long time, he can naturally compress the immortal power to the limit easily. In the following days, Yi Tian kept compressing and compressing immortal power. After only compressing a few months in the time acceleration environment, Yi Tian has compressed to 11 times the immortal power, and can withstand stronger suppression. Keep going. Yi Tian advanced another distance and continued to compress the immortal power. In this way, Yi Tian advances a certain distance every few months, and the multiple of his compressed immortal power is getting higher and higher. 12 times, 13 times, 14 times, 15 times. Yi Tian doesn't know how many times his compression limit is, but to have such an opportunity, he naturally tried his best to compress his immortal power. In the blink of an eye, a year in the outside world is about to pass. Chapter 629 36 times the power of immortality. Open black lens bracket second update close black lens bracket. 19 times immortal power. Yi Tian showed a satisfied smile when he saw that he had compressed 19 times of immortal power. The higher the cultivation base, the more difficult it is to compress the immortal power. For example, at the level of the universe god and master, it is even more difficult to compress the immortal power or divine power. Among the great gods, being able to compress 7 or 8 times the immortal power is relatively unbelievable, and it is more difficult for ordinary great gods to compress twice. And Yi Tian's total immortal power far exceeds other great gods, and even far exceeds the immortal power of His Royal Highness. Therefore, it is even more difficult for Yi Tian to compress the immortal power. However, Yi Tian's limit is also higher, and the multiple that can be compressed is naturally far more than others. This time, he used the Lingyun Heaven realm to compress the immortal power by 19 times, which is undoubtedly a very heaven-defying progress. It's fortunate that I entered the Lingyun Heaven realm this time, otherwise if I let myself slowly compress the immortal power, it would definitely take a long time to compress the immortal power to 19 times, even thousands of years. Yi Tian murmured. At this time, there is still a little time before leaving Lingyun Heavenly realm. Yi Tian was about to hit 20 times the immortal power. He felt that his immortal power could be compressed a little, and there was still hope to hit the 20 times immortal power. Try it. Under the acceleration of 1000 times, Yi Tian fully compressed his immortal power. Time passed slowly. This day, Yi Tian's aura suddenly became stronger, and the immortal energy in his body actually glowed with golden brilliance. 20 times the power. Yi Tian opened his eyes, revealing a look of alarm. Originally, he just wanted to try if he could hit 20 times the immortal power, but he didn't expect it to be compressed by 20 times, but he also felt that his immortal strength had been compressed to the limit, and there was no way to continue to compress it. 20 times the limit, enough. Yi Tian thought. He counted the time, and at this time there were still about 10 days before he left Lingyun Heavenly Realm. With his current level of immortal power, it won't take long to return, so he is not in a hurry to return to the entrance. It's better to go deeper into the Lingyun Heavenly Realm. I should not be far from the core of the Lingyun Heavenly Realm, maybe I can enter the core of the place. Yi Tian thought to himself. Immediately, he continued to fly slowly towards the front. After flying for about 20 minutes, Yi Tian was almost at the limit, and at this time he also came to the core of Lingyun Heaven Realm. This is. Yi Tian saw a sea of clouds covering this area. Go in. This thought instantly appeared in Yi Tian's mind, and it was difficult to dissipate it for a long time. Obviously, this place attracted Yi Tian. So, Yi Tian forcibly suppressed the restless immortal power in his body and flew another distance. Finally, Yi Tian reluctantly stepped into the sea of clouds. But as soon as he entered the sea of clouds, Yi Tian was shocked to find that the suppression disappeared. What's going on? The sea of clouds is not suppressed by the Lingyun Heaven Realm. Yi Tian was taken aback. Immediately, something even more surprising happened. Countless liquid substances in the sea of clouds poured into Yi Tian's body. This is the energy body of the sea of clouds, and it is also one of the components of the sea of clouds. With the influx of these energies, Yi Tian's immortal power, which had reached the limit, was absorbing these energies again and began to change slowly. The immortal power that originally glowed with golden light actually began to transform into a real golden immortal power, and the immortal power became more and more pure and powerful. 211. 22 times. The original limit can only be compressed by 20 times. The immortal power continued to compress, making Yi Tian stunned. He didn't even take the initiative to compress Shanli, but Shanli actively compressed under the influx of cloud sea energy. Opportunity, Yi Tian thought to himself. Immediately, he absorbed the energy with all his strength, compressing the immortal power in his body. Immediately, the speed of Shanli compression was much faster. Under the 1000 times time compression, Yi Tian was immersed in the compression of immortal power, and he didn't know how long it had passed. Suddenly one day, Yi Tian opened his eyes and stopped compressing the immortal power. At this time, the immortal energy in his body has turned into a semi-golden color, and the compression degree has reached 36 times the immortal energy. 36 times the immortal power. The energy of the sea of clouds is also ineffective for me. I am afraid that Gumuru is coming now, and I am the only one who can achieve 36 times the immortal power. Yi Tian murmured. He counted the time and found that there were only 3 days left before the closure of Lingyun Heavenly Realm. Must leave. Yi Tian flew out of the sea of clouds and quickly flew towards the exit of Lingyun Heavenly Realm. Lingzhou entrance and exit. One after another, the great gods came out from the inside, and the celestials of the spirit race and other great races in the universe looked at the exit, and once all the great gods of their race came out, they would pick them up and leave. Soon, Ying Zan Daozi and other 5 great gods came out one after another, and other great gods also appeared one after another. Has His Highness Wanfa not come out yet? Ying Zan Daozi glanced around and said. There is still some time. It is estimated that His Highness Wanfa wants to practice a little more time. Another human race great Shinto. Well, I guess so too. 1. Ying Zan Daozi nodded. After another period of time, when there were only 20 hours left in the Lingyun Heaven Realm, a figure came out from the portal in the air. This person is indeed His Highness Yi Tian. Swish. Yi Tian teleported to Ying Zan Daozi and others, and said, I'm back. Then let's leave. Eagle fights Daozi Dao. Afterwards, the human race Heavenly Venerate picked up Yi Tian and other 6 people, and took the spaceship to leave the spirit race. A few days later, Yi Tian returned to the supreme hall of the human race. After resting for a few days, Yi Tian was ready to hit the galaxy level. However, before he hit the galaxy level, he wanted to meet Kunwu Supreme. After all, his impact on the galaxy level is a big thing for the human race, and it is also a big thing for the human race to the highest hall. Once he became a galaxy-level powerhouse, he was no longer a highness in the supreme hall of the human race. He originally wanted to help the human race compete for more honors at the great god level, but his growth rate was too fast. If he continued to stay at the great god level, it would undoubtedly delay his cultivation. Moreover, Kunwu Supreme may have good advice on how to take the next path once he becomes a galaxy level. Yi Tian mentioned it to the Lord of Darkness first, and the Lord of Darkness informed Kunwu Supreme. Subsequently, Kunwu Supreme summoned Yi Tian. 0.0. Kunwu Palace. Yi Tian and Kunwu Supreme met alone. Yi Tian, do you really want to hit the galaxy level? Do you want to accumulate more background? The more the accumulation of the great god level background, the more benefits you get from hitting the galaxy level. Kunwu Supreme persuaded. Yi Tian hurriedly said. Kunwu Supreme, I have accumulated to the extreme, and there is no need to continue to accumulate. Extreme. Kunwu Supreme smiled and said. How many times has your immortal power been compressed, and how much has your soul improved? Shanli is compressed 36 times. As for the soul, it has reached the 9th level. Yi Tian said lightly. What? Kunwu Supreme was shocked and couldn't believe it. Immortal power is compressed by 36 times, what probability is this? There is this multiple of immortal power. As for the 9th level soul, he may not have been aware of it before, but Yi Tian contributed the Pluto secret tome, which made him understand the level of the soul. The 9th level soul is even more terrifying than the souls of many universe gods and even dominated. Is what you said true? Kunwu Supreme asked in disbelief. Real. Yi Tian was absolutely certain, and immediately projected the immortal power. The semi-gold immortal power flowing in the body was full of majestic and powerful power, far surpassing the immortal power and divine power of other great gods. And Yi Tian also showed the means of the soul out of the body. The powerful soul body came out from the soul realm, the powerful soul made the surrounding void tremble, and even Kunwu Supreme had an illusion, that is Yi Tian's soul not weaker than him. However, that is impossible. The total amount of souls at the supreme level may not be high, but the quality is very high. Yi Tian's total souls are still high, but the quality is still much worse than that of the supreme souls. Okay, very good, you can go to the star level, I will not stop you. Kunwu Supreme said with joy. Chapter 630 Entering the Galaxy Level. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Kunwu Supreme, once I hit the galaxy level, I won't be able to stay in the heaven level area of the human race's highest hall. What should I do next? Does Kunwu Supreme have any suggestions? Yi Tian asked sincerely. There are 2 choices, Kunwu Supreme said. The first choice is to continue to stay in the supreme hall of human race, but you will definitely not be able to stay in the heaven level area, but choose to hold a position in the supreme hall of human race. Your Highness, I would suggest this, but I suggest that you do not stay in the highest hall of the human race to hold a certain position. Why? Yi Tian was curious. Kunwu Supreme is in charge of the supreme hall of the human race. It stands to reason that he will try his best to keep him in the supreme hall of the human race. Why not let him stay in the supreme hall of the human race? Because you are so talented. Supreme Kunwu sighed. Once you hold a position in the supreme human race, you must sacrifice some time to deal with the affairs of the supreme human race, and many trivial matters will affect your cultivation. The path of growth should not be troubled by these trifles, so I do not recommend that you stay in the high hall of the human race. What about the second option? Yi Tian asked. Being under the command of the Divine Blade Alliance, walking around in the name of a loose cultivator, you can develop your own power by the way. Didn't you build a Tianj? You can develop a Tianj. Once the Tianj develops, it will not be 010, may bring you some unexpected opportunities. You may be curious, why do I suggest you to be named the God Blade Alliance? Because other supreme level forces are sectarian forces, and you have no background, maybe you will get the Supreme's focus on cultivating, but other people definitely resist you because you have interests involved with other people. People are selfish, and the Supremes will not be selfish, but others cannot do it. In a situation that excludes you and resists you, it is very difficult for you to gain more opportunities among the forces of. Therefore, I do not recommend that you join other supreme level forces. The Divine Blade Alliance is different. This is a force similar to the Loose Cultivation Alliance. The main method is to accept tasks, pay attention to equivalent transactions, and there is not much restriction. Besides, with your potential and status, if something really happens, we the Supremes will not be left alone. Therefore, the name of the Divine Blade Alliance is the best choice. But the decision rests with you. Once the name of the Divine Blade Alliance, the road will definitely be a little dangerous, and staying in the highest hall of the human race will be much safer, and the chances will be less. Kunwu Supreme Road. Yi Tian fully recognized Kunwu Supreme's statement that if he continued to stay in the Supreme Human Race Hall, the Supreme Human Race Hall would not be able to give him too many opportunities. The Human Race Supreme Hall is an institution that specializes in cultivating His Royal Highness, rather than cultivating institutions above the galaxy level. For example, a master such as the Dark Lord, the Human Race Supreme Hall is unlikely to give too many opportunities, but they do not have much free time. Therefore, the powerhouses in the Supreme Hall of the human race seem to be very safe, but in fact the speed of progress is far less than those of the sect forces. After Yi Tian understood the reason, naturally he would not choose to stay in the supreme hall of the human race. Kunwu Supreme, I choose the second way, Yi Tian said. Well, since you have already made up your mind, after hitting the galaxy level, go to the Divine Blade Alliance to register. I will say hello to the Divine Blade Supreme, but don't expect him to take special care of you. All opportunities still need you work hard. At most, when you are in danger, the Supreme Divine Blade will try to rush to it. Kunwu Supreme said. Clear, Yi Tian nodded in response. Afterwards, Yi Tian left the Kunwu Temple. After a few days of rest, Yi Tian left the Human Race Supreme Hall. This time, Yi Tian still chose to attack the galaxy level in the origin world. The process of his impact is different from others. He has already opened up the world of Dantian. Now he only needs to make the world of Dantian truly transform. By the way, he will pass through another thunder tribulation, so that he can truly become a galaxy-level powerhouse. A void somewhere in the origin world. The Dark Lord was guarding in the dark, while Yi Tian sat cross-legged and began to attack the galaxy level. The galaxy level is the transformation of Dantian into the world. Although I have created the ancient world of chaos, the power of the ancient world of chaos cannot really be mobilized. The real source of galaxy-level power is the world, and the body and the world are one. I want to do it now. The body and the world are one, and the world is perfectly controlled, and the galaxy level can also be called the master of the world. Yi Tian thought to himself. Next, Yi Tian began to try to merge with the ancient world of chaos and move his immortal soul into the ancient world of chaos. Boom! The immortal soul successfully moved to the ancient world of chaos, sitting cross-legged in the void of the ancient world of chaos, and then poured all the immortal power into the ancient world of chaos, trying to break the world barrier of the ancient world of chaos. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Boom! The world barrier was broken, and immediately under the control of Yi Tian, the ancient world of chaos began to expand, and slowly merged with the fleshly body perfectly. This step is very slow, and it will take a long time to truly transform the ancient world of chaos. In a blink of an eye, a few days passed. This day, Yi Tian's chaotic ancient world really began to transform, madly absorbing the surrounding vitality. To transform the ancient chaotic world, it is far from enough to have its own immortal power, and even the vitality around it is not enough. Wow! Yi Tian took out a large number of world origin stones and divine crystals and other resources. His breakthrough is unmatched by others, so he must be well prepared. Boom! The ancient world of chaos expanded and strengthened at an incredible speed, and Yi Tian's aura became stronger and stronger. The three abilities of Jing, Qi and Shen also began to slowly merge, forming a thread of world origin, allowing the ancient world of chaos to begin to give birth to real vitality. Although the ancient chaotic world before was also a world, it was a lifeless world, but today's ancient chaotic world has been born with vitality, possessing the law of origin and other rules, and it is the real world. But what kind of world can really become depends on Yi Tian's background. And this foundation is the three energies of Jing, Qi and Shen. Therefore, the stronger the body is, the more immortal power is compressed, the stronger the soul, and the more understanding of the laws between heaven and earth, the better the world formed. As time passed, the resources around Yi Tian were gradually consumed, and even the world originium was also consumed in large quantities. 10,006, 20,006, 3,000 world originium stones. The Dark Lord saw that Yi Tian had consumed so many originium stones, and there was no sign of stopping, and he was immediately stunned. His Highness Wanfa's potential is really amazing. A few hundred pieces are enough for others. Even for His Royal Highness, the Henggu class, with high potential, 2,000 world origin stones are basically enough. You can see the breakthrough of His Highness Wanfa. I'm afraid it needs thousands of world origin stones. Yori Sanzai thought to himself. Another day passed. At this time, Yi Tian had already consumed nearly 10,000 world originium stones, and the other resources consumed were countless, and even the vitality around him had been exhausted, leaving the surrounding area as a vacuum. In order to make Yi Tian have enough vitality, the Dark Master even mobilized his own strength to control the vitality of other areas, pouring into Yi Tian's side, so that Yi Tian would not lack vitality. With the help of a large amount of resources and the source stone of the world, Yi Tian's ancient chaotic world has expanded hundreds of times, and the world has also stabilized hundreds of times. Sudden, a small sapling was born in the chaotic ancient world, and it slowly turned into a towering giant tree. Then, it continued to grow, getting bigger and bigger. World Tree, Yi Tian exclaimed. No, it's the ancient tree of chaos. Yi Tian saw the chaotic aura pervading this tree and suddenly woke up. At the beginning, although Yi Tian obtained the ancient chaotic tree, he had already consumed the ancient chaotic tree when he opened up the ancient world of chaos. Unexpectedly, he hit the galaxy level, the ancient chaotic world transformed, and the ancient chaotic tree reappeared, and it was more majestic and sturdy than the previous ancient chaotic tree. At the moment when the cultivation base broke through, Yi Tian's immortal soul also became much stronger. Taking this opportunity, Yi Tian ran the Pluto secret tome, breaking the bottleneck of the soul in one fell swoop, allowing the immortal soul to enter the level of the underworld general. This can be said to be a double-edged sword. The ancient chaotic world has transformed, and the immortal power is quickly transformed into the galaxy-level immortal power, and the immortal power can be transformed into the world power of the chaotic ancient world at any time, and the power of the world can also be transformed into the immortal power. At this moment, Yi Tian was truly promoted to the first rank of the galaxy level. Just when Yi Tian stood up, an incomparably huge thunder cloud appeared in the void. Thunder tribulation is coming, this time it should be 12 thunder tribulations. Yi Tian whispered to himself. Soon, the first thunder tribulation came. This thunder calamity far surpassed the previous one, and was enough to wipe out the powerful galaxy-level peak powerhouses, but Yi Tian just glanced at this first thunder calamity indifferently, grabbed the thunder calamity with one hand, and gently slammed it down. Pinch, even directly pinched the first thunder tribulation into nothingness. Second thunder tribulation, the third thunder robbery. One after another thunder tribulation came. Yi Tian directly shook the thunder tribulation with his physical body, and easily exploded the power of the thunder tribulation. In a short time, all 12 thunder tribulations came. Yi Tian survived the thunder calamity intact and was very relaxed, but if it was replaced by other supreme level highnesses to survive such a thunder calamity, there is a 90% chance that he would fall and die. In the dark, the Lord of Darkness saw such an easy 5.8 to go through this level of thunder calamity without any damage, so there is no need to sigh. His Majesty Myriad Fa's current strength is probably enough to kill ordinary cosmic gods, and even powerful cosmic gods are difficult to kill. Kill His Highness Wanfa. Recalling that when he was promoted to the galaxy level, he was far worse than Yi Tian, even a finger of Yi Tian was inferior. Swish, the Dark Lord revealed his figure, appeared in front of Yi Tian, and congratulations to His Highness Wanfa for being promoted to the galaxy level realm. Master of Darkness is polite, starting from today, I am no longer His Highness. Yi Tian said, then I will call you the true monarch of 10,000 laws. The Dark Lord smiled. From this moment, the Lord of Darkness will no longer be Yi Tian's escort, but even so, the Lord of Darkness is still very polite to Yi Tian. After all, with Yi Tian's growth rate, the Dark Lord believed that Yi Tian would surpass him in too many years. Subsequently, Yi Tian returned to the Human Race Supreme Hall to stabilize his realm. He was not in a hurry to leave the Human Race Supreme Hall, and planned to stay for a while. He believed that the Human Race Supreme Hall would not be in a hurry to drive him away. Test the world quality first, Yi Tian thought. He took out a world bead and poured his world power into it, and immediately 2 words appeared in the world bead. Chapter 631 Leaving the Supreme Palace of the Human Race. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Skyline. Looking at these 2 words, Yi Tian's pupils shrank suddenly, extremely shocked. I opened up the heavens. Yi Tian muttered to himself. The quality of the world is out of the 9th grade to the 1st grade, and there are also the small 1,000 worlds, the large 1,000 worlds in the heavens, but even the small 1,000 worlds are the world quality that the children of the universe dream of. But in fact, the sons of the universe who can open up a small 1,000 worlds are as rare as peas and peas. It is too rare. As for the quality of heaven, Yi Tian had never heard of it. According to Yi Tian's understanding, the quality of the heavens is calculated, and any quality that exceeds the limit of the quality of the great 1,000 realms is the quality of the heavens, so the world beads can be used to test such world quality. My chaotic ancient world must be of celestial quality, but it is definitely not an ordinary celestial quality, because the limit of the world pearl test can only reach the celestial quality. Yi Tian thought to himself. In the blink of an eye, a few days passed. This day, Yi Tian suddenly received a courier. That's right, it's a courier. Of course, this is Yi Tian's own name. In the Son of Universe, it is called Cosmic Delivery, and a huge company spanning many cosmic clans, the Cosmic Express Group, is responsible for delivering the goods. The Cosmic Express Group is very mysterious. It controls many cosmic clans and some innate souls. There are many cosmic gods and powerhouses at the master level, and the employees responsible for transporting goods have the lowest cultivation base to reach the galaxy level. They do not accept small orders, and they are basically orders with relatively high value and good reputation. And the courier that Yi Tian received came from other big clans, which made Yi Tian a little surprised. But soon, he knew who the courier came from. It turned out to be His Royal Highness the Heavenly Monarch of the Protoss. Knowing who the sender was, Yi Tian signed for the courier. This courier was made of a special metal box, and the magic circle was sealed on it. After Yi Tian signed the receipt, the magic circle was opened, and the key of the special metal box was also delivered to Yi Tian by the courier. It should be 10 original artifacts. At that time, I came out of Lingyun Heavenly Realm a little late, and the great gods of the gods left first. I thought that His Royal Highness Tianjin would be cheating and would not give me 10 original artifacts. Unexpectedly, he actually sent me 10 origin artifacts through the Cosmic Express group. Yi Tian was quite surprised. Click, the metal box was opened, and 10 space rings were displayed inside. Immediately, Yi Tian refined these space rings one by one, and each space ring contained an original artifact. The value of the 10 original artifacts is also quite high. Even if Yi Tian can't use all of them, it is a good choice to leave the Heaven Pavilion as the treasure of the Town Pavilion. After putting away the 10 original artifacts, Yi Tian went through some formalities and left the Human Race Supreme Hall. From today onwards, he is no longer a highness in the Supreme Palace of the human race, but the true monarch of 10,000 laws. Tianlin Giant City. Yi Tian returned to the Tian Pavilion and met his wife Xiao Yu for the first time. UAA, I also hit the galaxy level, and left the Human Race Supreme Hall. Next, I will accompany you for a while. Yi Tian hugged Xiao Yu and said. Congratulations husband, Xiao Yu congratulated. In the following days, Yi Tian spent a lot of time with his wife Xiao Yu, and also vigorously cultivated members of Tianj, and spent a lot of resources on the training of Tianj members. Under Yi Tian's vigorous training, Tian Pavilion's success has progressed rapidly. In the blink of an eye, 3 years have passed. At this time, Yi Tian, relying on his amazing talent, a lot of resources, and time acceleration ability, finally raised his cultivation to the pinnacle of the Galaxy Level 9th Order realm, and his wife, Moon Emperor, was also promoted to the pinnacle realm of the Galaxy level. At the Galaxy level, there is no division of the Son of the Universe, even if Yi Tian was the Son of the Era before, but now he is no longer the Son of the Era. However, the Galaxy level achieved by the Son of Era is far more terrifying than others can imagine. At the Galaxy level, I still need to accumulate. Although I am strong now, I am still too weak compared to those heaven-defying cosmic gods, lords and celestial venerables. Supreme Kunwu suggested me to go to the Divine Blade Alliance, but I have no idea. It is necessary to go. I am making progress all the time now, first practice to accumulate a little and then go to the Divine Blade Alliance. Yi Tian planned. Next, Yi Tian focused on the 9th set of movements and the 10th set of movements of the 18 Golden Body Jutsu. Inheriting the 9th set of movements and the 10th set of movements requires entering the 6 paths of reincarnation tower of the Human Race Supreme Hall. Others cannot enter after leaving the Human Race Supreme Hall, but Yi Tian is special. As long as you apply, you can enter the 6 paths of the Human Race Supreme Hall. In the Reincarnation Tower. In addition to the 18 Golden Body Art, Yi Tian also has to practice the Chaos Golden Desolation Art and the Secret Tome of Hades. At the same time, he also needs to comprehend the unique skills of creating the Tao of the Blade and the true skills of Chaos, as well as comprehend the avenues of Chaos. He has only mastered the shape of the Chaos Tao now, and the next realm is the Dharma. But according to Yi Tian's knowledge, all the existences that condense the Tao Dharma are basically the masters, and they are the very powerful masters. But no matter what, he needs to work hard. Under the frenzied cultivation, Yi Tian spent 30 years perfecting the 9th and 10th movements of the 18 Golden Body Judgment, making the flesh body extremely terrifying and powerful. However, the speed of cultivating the Chaos Golden Desolation Art is much slower, because the glazed golden wave liquid obtained from the Dragon Clan is not enough, and he has completely exhausted it. The Tao of the Sword is also stuck at the Xeon level Tao of the Sword, and it is difficult to progress. However, the Chaotic Reel technique has made great progress. Yi Tian has further improved the Chaotic Reel Black Lotus Realm 010, which is equivalent to half a step to the advanced Chaotic Reel technique, and has combined the Chaotic Divine Tome Secret technique with the Chaotic Reel technique to create a brand new Chaos. True skill. For example, the previous 6 Chaos Palms, Primordial Scale Armor and Primordial Vines were all perfected by Yi Tian to become Chaos True skills, which were even more powerful. In fact, the so-called Chaos Divine Tome Mystery technique is an incomplete Chaos True technique, But the cultivation civilization of this universe is still relatively weak, and many aspects are not perfect. However, Yi Tian believes that after countless years, the cultivation books of the various cosmos clans will definitely be improved a lot. This day, Yi Tian began to practice Hades' secret tome. He has now reached the Pluto level of Pluto's secret tome, which corresponds to the galaxy level and the galaxy level, while Yi Tian is only at the initial stage of the underworld general, and his immortal soul can continue to become stronger. But this UZ is not suitable for the way of soul after all, so Yi Tian has a lot of soul resources, and the speed of progress is also very slow. This is because Yi Tian broke the rules of the universe and is not controlled by the source of the universe. If it is someone else, the progress will be slower. Because of the suppression of the source of the universe, other people don't want to make great progress in the way of the soul. As all aspects gradually fell into a bottleneck, it was very difficult for Yi Tian to make rapid progress, and cultivating with a head covering was undoubtedly not a good way, and he needed to find new opportunities. It's time to go to the Divine Blade Alliance, Yi Tian secretly said. Chapter 632 Members of the Divine Blade Alliance. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Divine Blade Alliance, Tianlin Giant City Branch. Yi Tian is here. The Divine Blade Alliance has branches in all major human star regions, and only a few weak star regions do not have branches of the Divine Blade Alliance. The sanctuary has the largest number of branches. Basically, important giant cities and continents have branches of the Divine Blade Alliance. Yi Tian is only a registered member of the Divine Blade Alliance, and can register in any branch, so there is no need to go to the Divine Blade Alliance headquarters to register. When Yi Tian came to the branch of the Divine Blade Alliance in Tianlin Giant City, it immediately attracted the attention of many people. "It's His Highness Wanfa," someone exclaimed. But soon, some people noticed that Yi Tian's cultivation had broken through to the galaxy level, and it was not appropriate to be called His Highness Wanfa. Therefore, someone came over to say hello. "I have seen the true monarch Wanfa. The Lord of all laws. The Lord of all laws." For the politeness of others, Yi Tian nodded slightly. There was no need to respond deliberately. This is not impolite, but because of his status. If any weak person greets him, he needs to respond. It will be annoying to go out in the future. After all, there are too many people greeting him. Then, Yi Tian came to a counter. "I want to register as a member of the Divine Blade Alliance." Yi Tian said. "Wanfa Zhenjin, please wait a moment." Counter staff, Dao. Immediately, the counter staff went through the registration procedures for Yi Tian. After a series of procedures, Yi Tian successfully became an ordinary member of the Divine Blade Alliance. It didn't take long for Yi Tian's membership token to be created. In addition, a new guidebook about the rules of the Divine Blade Alliance was also given to Yi Tian. In the next few days, Yi Tian focused on the situation of the Divine Blade Alliance. Soon, Yi Tian knew a lot about the Divine Blade Alliance, and gradually came to know the general operation of the Divine Blade Alliance. The Divine Blade Alliance is similar to the General Mercenary Chamber of Commerce and the Loose Cultivator Alliance, but it is quite different. That is, the Divine Blade Alliance cannot form a team force. Some mercenary organizations on Earth can basically form teams, and they will form groups or mercenary teams. If it is allowed to form a mercenary team, the task will be much easier, but there are also many problems. For example, the more members of a team, if they are divided into levels, it is easy to form a group of forces and divide the alliance of the gods. As one of the supreme forces, the Divine Blade Alliance is absolutely not allowed to do this. Even if those members are outsiders, it is absolutely not allowed, otherwise the foundation of the Divine Blade Alliance will be damaged. Therefore, there is no group in the Divine Blade Alliance, only the official organization of the Divine Blade Alliance. Become a member of the Divine Blade Alliance. You can buy the items consigned by other members in the mall, which are basically genuine, because the internal personnel of the Divine Blade Alliance will detect. Once they dare to sell guys, they will be sanctioned by the Divine Blade Alliance. Even imprisoned or even executed. Therefore, few people dare to sell fake goods at the risk of offending the Divine Blade Alliance. In addition, members of the Divine Blade Alliance can receive and post tasks to earn some resources. And the biggest advantage of being in the Divine Blade Alliance is that you have the opportunity to get the opportunity bestowed by the Divine Blade Alliance, as well as the latest information. If there is no Divine Blade Alliance, even if there is an opportunity somewhere, you will not be able to know the situation, resulting in the loss of this opportunity. This day, Yi Tian came to the virtual network of the Divine Blade Alliance, and entered the virtual network to find out if there were any good tasks. Although he is rich, some resources cannot be exchanged for money and treasures. For example, some treasures that can be assisted by Yi Tian to create the ultimate swordsmanship, that is, no amount of divine crystals can be bought. The mission of the God Blade Alliance often attracts people to accept the mission with extremely rare treasures, and once the mission is completed, the treasure can be obtained. Yi Tian slowly checked the posted questions, but kept shaking his head. The Divine Blade Alliance has restrictions on taking quests. The galaxy level can only accept the quests of the galaxy level, but it cannot accept the quests of the universe god level. Therefore, Yi Tian can only view it in the galaxy level task board. But the quest rewards here are very general. Many quests are not difficult for Yi Tian, but the rewards make him not at all interested in accepting quests. With his current worth, even if it is a reward for a source artifact, he has no interest at all. After looking through the galaxy level mission section for a long time, there was finally a mission that attracted Yi Tian's attention. Tracking the peak powerhouse of the galaxy, the Lord of the Sword of Flame, it is very likely to break through to the realm of the universe god mission requirements. Find the Lord of the Sword of Flame and notify the official of the God Blade Alliance. Quest reward: 3 Swords of Heaven. Close black lens bracket. 2. It turned out to be the text of the 3 Swords of Heaven. Yi Tian was very moved by such a reward. It can even be said that any galaxy level will be moved, even the universe gods will be moved. The script of the Heavenly Tao is very rare, and the Heavenly Tao script of the sword is one of the rarer ones. There may be stocks in the Supreme Hall of the human race, but it will not be easily given to Yi Tian as a reward. And this time, 3 words of Heavenly Tao of the Blade were taken out at once, which shows how rich the reward of this quest is. Quote, Although I have obtained 1 word of the Heavenly Tao of the Blade, I have long since consumed it. If I obtain these 3 words of the Heavenly Tao of the Blade, it will be of great help for me to comprehend the unique art of creating the highest level of the Tao of the Blade. Yi Tian thought to himself. However, he is also very clear that since the Divine Blade Alliance has come up with such a reward, it can be seen that the task is very difficult. The mission requirement does not need to kill the Lord of the Flame Sword. After all, it is only a task released by the galaxy level, and it is too difficult for the galaxy level to kill the Lord of the Flame Sword. Moreover, the content of the mission also mentioned that the Yandao god may have broken through to the universe god, and there is almost no hope of killing the Yandao god at the galaxy level. Therefore, the mission requirement is to find the Yandao Allah and notify the Alliance headquarters. Once the Divine Blade Alliance finds this god of Flame Blade, it will naturally dispatch a strong person to arrive at the first time, and it will not be difficult to kill God of Flame Blade. But even so, the task is very difficult. Once it is discovered, it is very dangerous for others, and it is almost a certain death situation. Yi Tian is not afraid of the Flame Sword God. The reason why he is really interested in this task is not only the reward, but there is another aspect, that is, the Flame Sword God hides in Panyu. Panyu is Yi Tian's hometown, and it is also a star field that Yi Tian is very familiar with. Besides, he hadn't been to Panyu for a long time, so he wanted to go back and have a look, and see his old friends by the way. This task, accepted, Yi Tian immediately started to apply for this mission. Soon, the Divine Blade Alliance agreed to this mission and released detailed information about this mission. Chapter 633 Return to the Disk Domain. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Yi Tian took a look at the information provided by the Divine Blade Alliance about the Flame Blade God, and quickly learned some general information. It turned out that Allah Yandao was an internal member of the Divine Blade Alliance and was cultivated by the Divine Blade Alliance. His talent was only at the cosmos level, and his lifetime achievements could only reach the pinnacle realm of the galaxy level, and he could not enter the realm of the cosmos god. And the galaxy level and the universe god realm seem to be only one realm away, but it is an earth-shaking gap. Once you become a cosmic god, your lifespan will be the same as that of the universe, which is considered a long-term vision. However, the Xinghe level has a lifespan limit. Even if a human becomes an immortal, the Xinghe level of the immortal can only live for tens of millions of years. Of all the powerhouses who can step into the galaxy level, who doesn't want to attack the universe god? Therefore, Allah Yandao also wants to impact the realm of the universe god. Under a chance, the Lord of Yandao greedily acquired a batch of resources, including a treasure that could enhance his talent against the sky, and 3 words of the Heavenly Tao of the Sword. In order to covet these resources, Yandao Allah also killed several galaxy-level members of the Divine Blade Alliance. And because of this incident, the Divine Blade Alliance suffered heavy losses, because those resources were not owned by the Divine Blade Alliance itself, but were used for trading but were intercepted by Ala Yandao. Therefore, the Divine Blade Alliance was furious up and down. But because Ala Yandao is very smart in preparation, he also has a treasure that can block the deduction of the Supreme. Because of the inability to deduce the location of 010 Yandao Ala, so far it has not been possible to find Yandao Ala. But the Divine Blade Alliance is a supreme level force after all. After careful investigation, it was found that the Lord of the Blades had returned to Panyu. Because Lord Yandao is one of the 5 hegemonic forces in Panyu, the younger brother of Sword Emperor sect Sword Feather God. At first, he left Pan because he was a member of Sword Emperor sect and only because he was good at sword skills and was not suitable for Sword Emperor sect. Domain, working hard step by step, became a member of the Divine Blade Alliance. However, Ala Yandao had a low status in the Divine Blade Alliance and hardly knew Panyu. Even the other overlord-level forces in Panyu didn't know that Sword Emperor sect had such a background. Master Sword Feather, an acquaintance. This new god of the universe almost offended me at the beginning. I didn't expect to arrest his younger brother this time. Yi Tian was quite surprised. From the information, the Divine Blade Alliance also secretly sent people to the Sword Emperor sect, but unfortunately nothing was found. It seems that the Lord of the Sword has not returned to the Sword Emperor sect. And it is impossible for the Divine Blade Alliance to always send a cosmic god to wait in the Sword Emperor sect, it is unrealistic, so this task was released. After understanding this, Yi Tian told his wife and returned to Panyu alone. Through the teleportation stone gate, Yi Tian instantly came to the teleportation stone gate of Hengpan continent. Hengpan, CJFI, mainland. After Yi Tian came here, he immediately contacted the Undead Army Master. Soon, Yi Tian met the Undead Army Master. Undead Legion Headquarters. His Royal Highness Wanfa, no, it should be called the True Monarch Wanfa. Congratulations, you have entered the galaxy level, and you will not be far away from becoming a cosmic god in the future. The Undead Lord congratulated. Where? It's too early for me to break through to the universe god. 1. Yi Tian said quickly. The Undead Lord also knew that a genius like Yi Tian would not be able to attack the god of the universe so quickly, otherwise he would be wasting his potential. But he is also very clear that if Yi Tian is willing, he can hit the universe god realm in a short time. Therefore, he would not regard Yi Tian as a small galaxy class. True Monarch Wanfa, you are now at the galaxy level. You must have left the supreme hall of the human race. Could it be that you came back this time to develop in Panyu? The Undead Army Master asked curiously. That's not it. Yi Tian waved his hand. I have long established a force called Tianj, which is currently in the sanctuary Tianlin Giant City, so I will not return to Panyu for development but use the sanctuary to develop. For the development of the region. Moreover, I am now registered as a member in the Supreme Level Force Divine Blade Alliance, which is more free. With my character, if I choose to join other supreme level forces, I am afraid it is not suitable. So that's the case, then why did True Monarch Wanfa come to Panyu this time? The Undead Lord is curious. Has the Undead Army Master heard of the Blazing Sword God? Yi Tian asked. The Lord of Yandao. The Undead Army Master pondered for a while, then said, could it be the younger brother of God Lord Sword Feather? But he and I are not from the same era, so I don't know much about it. Could it be that His Highness came to Panyu for the sake of Yandao? Allah. Not bad. 1. Yi Tian nodded. The Lord of Yandao defected to the Divine Blade Alliance, which made the Alliance of Divine Blades furious, so he issued a mission to capture Ala Yandao. I also accepted the mission this time, and only then did I enter the Panyu. No wonder there are some new faces in the disk area recently, including Galaxy Level and Galaxy Level, and they are all located in some areas near the Sword Emperor sect. Although I learned this news before, I don't know much about Galaxy Level and Galaxy Level things. I'm interested, so I didn't pay much attention. The Undead Army leader said. Immediately, Yi Tian explained some basic situations to the Undead Army Master. In Panyu, he has almost no power, and the cultivation of those people on Earth is too weak to be useful at all. Moreover, this is the Ganges River system in Panyu, and the Sword Emperor sect is a new hegemonic force, so it is necessary to rely on the help of the Undead Army Master to facilitate the situation. Besides, although he has left the Supreme Hall of the human race, he is still the envoy of the town. As the emissary of the town, the Undead Legion will still cooperate with him, unless the Undead Legion wants to offend him, the emissary of the town. The Undead Army Master is not stupid, and naturally he will not offend Yi Tian on purpose. Knowing the basic situation, the Undead Army Master said, Shen Wanfa, how do you want me to help? You have also said that even the members of the Divine Blade Alliance have sneaked into the Sword Emperor sect, but they have not found the Flame Blade God. It is very likely that the other party is not in the Sword Emperor sect. Therefore, it is difficult for me to find the Lord of the Sword. 1. Undead Army Lord, I want you to help hold an auction and invite the heads of the 5 Overlord level forces and some big figures to participate, and I will try to see if I can attract the Lord of the Sword. Yi Tian said. If Lord Yandao wasn't stupid, he probably wouldn't participate. 1. The Road of the Undead Army. The Lord of the Flame Blade may not participate, but if someone auctions the treasure for the Lord of the Flame Blade, they will definitely contact the Lord of the Flame Blade. In that case, there is hope to find the trace of the Lord of the Flame Blade. If you don't reach the Lord of the Sword, you won't lose any money if you hold an auction. Yi Tian said. That's right, but it's not so easy to take out the treasure that attracts the Lord of the Flame Blade. After all, the other party used to be an insider of the God Blade Alliance, and he greedily acquired a lot of resources, so his net worth is very rich. For it. The Undead Lord, these treasures, I will come. Yi Tian smiled slightly and said. At this moment, Yi Tian took out a treasure, which was a knife. This is the Source Artifact, and it is the most top source knife tool. The Undead Lord was quite surprised. However, although such a weapon is attractive to Allah, it has not yet reached the point of madness. Then, Yi Tian took out the second treasure. Yi Tian's second treasure is Chaos Rare Earth. That small piece of rare earth is filled with extremely rich Chaos Primordial Qi and Chaos Law. Chaos Rare Earth, true monarch Wanfa, do you even have such a treasure? The Undead Lord looked at Yi Tian in shock and said. Chapter 634 Chaos Rare Earth. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. As the strongest among the universe gods, the Undead Army Lord is really disdainful of ordinary treasures, even if it is the original artifact, although he likes it, he will not be crazy. Because he also has the source artifact, and the source knife tool is not suitable for him, so he is only surprised, not too shocked. But now, the emergence of chaotic rare earth is different. Chaos Rare Earth is an extremely important resource. It is useless to the galaxy level and the galaxy level, but it is of great use to the universe gods, especially for some universe gods who have just broken through. Chaos Rare Earths are like treasures. If a person reaches the cosmic god realm, the world and the body will transform into a small universe, but just after breaking through to the cosmic god realm, the small universe in the body is very unstable, and it takes a long time to retreat to stabilize the small universe in the body. However, chaotic rare earths can stabilize the small universe, and can strengthen the small universe. Without such treasures as chaotic rare earths, it would take at least hundreds of thousands of years for a cosmic god to stabilize the small universe with his own efforts, and even hundreds of millions of years or more if he wanted to cultivate to the pinnacle of the cosmic god. But chaotic rare earths are too rare, often only when the universe expands and chaotic tides come, can chaotic rare earths be obtained. However, the chaotic tide is basically occupied by the 9 supreme level forces. People like the Undead Army Master have no chance to enter the chaotic tide of the resource explosion, and the ordinary area of the chaotic tide does not have many resources at all, let alone obtain chaos rare earth. Therefore, chaos rare earth is too precious, and even the Undead Army Lord has only seen it at an auction. Now, this is the second time I have seen chaos rare earth. True monarch Wanfa, you were able to get chaotic rare earths. It must not have been given by the supreme hall of the human race. After all, you are only at the galaxy level, and chaotic rare earths are useless to you. Asked the Undead Army Master. Naturally, it was not given by the supreme hall of the human race, but I got it in a chance. Yi Tian said. In fact, he obtained the chaotic rare earth in the chaotic small world, and the dark ape took him into the lair of Tianmang Beast, an overlord of the chaotic small world. How many treasures were hidden in his lair, he was swept away by Yi Tian. At that time, he didn't know many treasures, but after returning, he investigated them one by one and understood the usefulness of these treasures, one of which was chaos rare earth. He knew that the universe god was very eager for chaotic rare earth, so he took out such a treasure, not only to attract the sword feather god master, but also to attract the flame sword god. Regardless of whether the Yandao Allah has successfully reached the universe god realm or not, he needs chaos rare earth. True monarch Wanfa, how many chaotic rare earths do you have in your hands? 1. The Undead Lord asked eagerly. Undead Army Lord, do you also want chaos rare earth? Yi Tian was curious. Yeah, the Undead Army Master said embarrassedly, Panyu has too few resources and few opportunities. I have practiced for millions of years, and I am only the 7th rank of the universe god. If I can obtain some chaotic rare earths, I will not only it can make the small universe in the body more stable, and can accelerate the growth of the small universe so that my cultivation base can reach the ninth order as soon as possible. At that time, my strength will become much stronger. Therefore, I need chaos rare earths very much. Undead Army Lord, I don't have much chaotic rare earth in my hands. I can only provide you 300 jin at most. I also need to put out 100 jin and put it in the auction, otherwise it will not be conducive to the execution of my plan. Yi Tian apologized. 300 pounds, enough is enough. The undead soldier said happily. He didn't expect Yi Tian to have many rare earths. After all, this was a scarce resource that even he couldn't get. Even if Yi Tian only traded him a few dozen pounds, he was very excited, and it would soon be 300 pounds. Soon, the two completed the deal. The undead lord did not let Yi Tian suffer. Not only did he pay a lot of divine crystals and some chaotic spar, but also gave Yi Tian some chaotic resources that can be used at galaxy level and galaxy level, the total value of which is more than 300 pounds of chaos rare earths or even more. But in fact, it is difficult to exchange more resources for chaos rare earth, because other people will not sell it. However, what the undead army master didn't know was that the chaotic rare earth in Yi Tian's hands was far more than 400 kilograms but several thousand kilograms. However, he himself also needs chaos rare earth in the future, so naturally he will not take out all of them. Subsequently, the undead lord arranged for Yi Tian to live in the city of the undead, while the undead lord arranged for an auction, and the location was going to be set up in the city of the undead. At the same time, the news about the auction was also spread out one by one, and even the news of chaos rare earth and the origin knife tool was spread through secret channels. Certainly, the news is limited to the Ganges River system in Panyu, and it has not been transmitted to the outside world, otherwise it is easy to cause unnecessary aberrations. Soon, the Wangu sect of the Ganges River system, the Temple of Desolation, the Valley of Innocent Love, and the newly promoted hegemonic force, the Sword Emperor sect, have all learned of this auction. Sword Emperor. The Divine Master Sword Feather sat on the high throne, holding an invitation card in his hand, showing a curious color. Ask for flowers. This invitation was just sent by the Undead Legion, and it was an invitation to the auction. Strange, the Undead Legion is rarely involved in auctions, why is there a sudden auction this time? Although curious, it is not surprising that the Undead Army has an auction. Immediately, he paid a little attention to the situation of the auction, and after learning that there would be primordial knives and chaos rare earths at the auction, he couldn't sit still. Chaos rare earth, you must get it. God Lord Swordfeather said excitedly. At this time, he sensed the vibration of the transmitter and immediately took out the transmitter. A voice came from the communicator. Big brother, I heard that the Undead Legion will open an auction. There will be an auction of primordial knives and chaos rare earths. The primordial knives are the best if they can be auctioned. It's okay if they can't be auctioned, but chaos rare earth must be auctioned for me. I need chaos rare earth. 0.0. The person who sent the message was the Lord of the Flame Sword. Hearing this, Divine Master Jianyu frowned and said, Second brother, it's too dangerous for you to contact me at this time, in case. Besides, I also need chaos rare earth. Chaos rare earths are in great need. 1. Brother, don't forget, if I hadn't obtained a lot of resources for you in the Divine Blade Alliance, would you be able to achieve today's achievements? Besides, I can't show up now, it's difficult to get some scarce resources, I can only rely on you. I need to improve my strength, stabilize my realm, and then slowly find a way to leave the human race. Once I leave, I will never come to you again, and you don't have to worry about being implicated by me. How? Yan Dao Allah said. Okay, if I successfully auction chaos rare earth, I'll take half of it and give you the other half. Sword Feather God said. Allah Yan Dao was silent for a while, then said, okay, it's up to you. The communicator stopped vibrating, and the Sword Feather God Master also breathed a sigh of relief. Every time he communicated with the Lord of Yandao, he was very flustered, for fear that a master would come and directly obliterate him. Next, God Lord Swordfeather kept raising resources to prepare for the auction of the Undead Legion. Time passes slowly. On this day, the auction of the Undead Legion is about to start, and the heads of the other 4 major Overlord-level forces and important figures, as well as some powerful loose cultivators, 8 or 9 star forces have come to the city of the Undead. For a time, the city of the Undead God was far more lively than before, almost one of the crowded scenes. Chapter 635 The Order of the Envoy of the Town, Monitoring the Sword Emperor Sect. Open black lens bracket seeking full ord. The city of the undead, somewhere in the attic. Yi Tian tasted with a glass of fine wine, while the copying talent was shrouded in, checking everyone who entered the city of the undead. Especially the people from the Sword Emperor sect, he focused on investigating. But after some investigation, he did not detect the trace of the Yandao god. That's right, how could a person who was so careful with Yandao god show up easily, otherwise he would have been caught by the people of the God Blade Alliance. Yi Tian secretly said. After half a day, the auction started. Yi Tian disguised as an ordinary galaxy class, and carried a treasure that could hide his breath, and entered the auction. As a result, other people can't recognize his identity at all. The auction started, and the auctions were auctioned out one by one, and the competition was fierce. The auction items that can enter this auction are all excellent, and even some rare items, even if they are not comparable to the original knife and chaotic rare earth, they are also treasures for the galaxy level or the galaxy level. Time passed, 010, and a large number of auction items were auctioned out. Finally, 3 finale items came into play. Next, please come out with the first auction item, shouted the auctioneer. Immediately, a knife was presented, and it was the original knife provided by Yi Tian. This is a top-level source artifact, intact, suitable for the Tao of the Blade powerhouse above the galaxy level, at least 1 billion divine crystals. 1. Shouted the auctioneer. 151Z, 201Z, one after another, the galaxy-level powerhouses bid for the exit, and the scene was very hot. Soon, Divine Master Swordfeather also participated and directly quoted, 4 billion divine crystals. Although divine crystal is not a very precious currency, it is also an indispensable currency for ordinary god-level forces. Even the overlord-level forces do not have too many god-level crystals. Taking out 4 billion god-level crystals at once is equivalent to a hegemon-level force, income for decades. Seeing that the Swordfeather god was bidding for an original sword, although the other forces were curious, they did not dare to offend the newly promoted god of the universe, so they gave up one by one. The undead army lord took a deep look at the divine lord Swordfeather among the distinguished guests, showing a thoughtful expression. If Yi Tian hadn't talked to him, he probably wouldn't suspect anything, but felt that the Swordfeather divine master wasted divine crystals to buy a weapon he didn't need. But now, he has some guesses. O Lord of the Sword! The undead lord murmured inwardly. The other side. Yi Tian also noticed the scene where the Swordfeather god was bidding for the original sword weapon, and couldn't help but smile secretly. It seems that the Swordfeather god is really related to the Yandao god, otherwise, he would not be able to bid for the original sword weapon. I will definitely be very careful and send the original sword tool to the Lord of the Flame Blade in a special way. It is impossible to meet the Lord of the Flame Blade in person, so it is still difficult to meet the Lord of the Flame Blade through the Swordfeather Lord. The original sword was bought by the Swordfeather god for 4 billion crystals, and then the second finale item was auctioned. This auction item is a treasure provided by the Undead Legion. It is a script of heaven, but it is only a script of fire. In the end, the text of the heavenly Tao of Fire was auctioned off by a top galaxy-level powerhouse. Next is the last auction item, Chaos Rare Earth. Perhaps many people do not know the function of Chaos Rare Earth. It is useless to warriors below the Universe God, only useful to the Universe God. Chaos Rare Earth can stabilize the new Universe God. A small universe in the body, and it can expand the small universe of the Universe God, saving countless years of hard work. The total amount of chaotic rare earth is 100 caddies, and the auction is now starting. The starting price is 10 billion divine crystals, which can be auctioned with treasures. The auctioneer shouted. Sure enough, there are chaotic rare earths. God Lord Swordfeather was very excited. Even the cosmic gods of several other overlord-level forces were moved one by one. They are not new universe gods, the small universe in their bodies is already stable, but who doesn't want to be more stable, and who doesn't want to increase the strength of the small universe faster? 2001Z, 3001Z, 4001Z. The 4 cosmic gods of the other 4 hegemonic forces were bidding for the auction. Among them, the god Lord Swordfeather was the most insane, and it seemed that he would spare no expense for Chaos Rare Earth. Soon, the auction price reached 100 billion. 100 billion worth of divine crystals, such a huge number is too amazing, even the 4 overlord-level forces feel the pressure. Even if the auction is obtained, it is also a heavy price for the overlord-level forces, and it will take a long time to recover. 150 billion divine crystals. The Lord of Swordfeather quoted an astonishing price. The sect master of the Eternal Sect, the valley master of the Heartless Valley, and the master of the Godly Desolate Palace shook their heads and gave up. Obviously, the price of 150 billion divine crystals is too high, and they are not chaotic rare earths, and the big deal can be cultivated slowly. The disk domain is relatively peaceful, and the competition is not large, so there is no need to be so crazy. Moreover, they also knew very well that the sword feather god lord had not broken through to the cosmic god. His strength was relatively weak in the cosmic god realm, and the small universe within his body was unstable, so he undoubtedly needed chaos rare earth. Therefore, it is not easy for them to fight to the death with the sword feather god lord. When the auctioneer's hammer fell, God Master Sword Feather breathed a sigh of relief. Finally filmed, the Sword Feather Divine Master murmured. After the auction ended, the Lord Sword Feather handed over the money for the auction item and took away the original sword and chaos rare earth. When Lord Sword Feather took the people from the Emperor's sect to leave, Yi Tian recovered and met with the undead army lord. The Lord of 10,000 Laws, the Lord of Sword Feather bid for the original sword weapon. It seems that he is really related to the Lord of the Flame Sword. It is estimated that he bid for the Lord of the Flame Sword. What are you going to do now? It's probably not easy to track down, said the undead army master. That's right, God Master Sword Feather will definitely not meet God Master Yan Dao. God Master Yan Dao does not dare to return to Sword Emperor sect, so God Master Sword Feather must entrust someone to bring Chaos Rare Earth to God Master Yan Dao, not even the middleman. I know the existence of God Dan Dao. But there is one thing that God Master Sword Feather may ignore, that is, I am the envoy of the town. Yi Tian said with a smile. Emissary of the town. The undead lord suddenly realized. I almost forgot that the true monarch of 10,000 laws is the envoy of the town, and the token of the envoy of the town is rumored to be created by the Supremes. It can control the power of one star field and monitor the 4 directions. With the cultivation of the true monarch, it is enough to monitor many. As long as God Lord Jianyu dares to send people to do this, true monarch Wanfa will be able to monitor where God is, said the undead army lord. However, I need to use your undead lord to activate the envoy order of the town, and I hope that the undead lord can help me cover up the vision used by the envoy of the town, so as not to be perceived by the other gods of the universe. Yi Tian requested. It's just a small matter, don't worry, true monarch Wanfa. The undead lord smiled. Immediately, Yi Tian took out the emissary order of the town at the headquarters of the undead army. Then, Yi Tian urged the envoy order from the town. Boom! The power of the star field and the luck of the human race converged here, and a huge figure emerged in the void. At this time, the undead army lord covered this place with majestic power, so that outsiders would not suspect the town envoys just because the undead army lord was cultivating some kind of secret technique. In an instant, Yi Tian's eyes passed through the layers of space and looked at the Sword Emperor sect headquarters. Sword Emperor. After the Lord of Sword Feather returned, he carefully explored the surroundings, and even opened a great formation, and immediately contacted the Lord of the Sword. Brother, I successfully bid for the original knife tool and 100 caddies of chaotic rare earths. I will leave 50 caddies of chaotic rare earths, and the rest will be given to you. When will they be delivered to you? God Lord Sword Feather asked. Before long, Allah Yan Dao responded. It will be delivered in a few days. Remember, you can't come in person, and you can't let the delivery person know what the goods are, and you can't even know my existence. It's better to find a victim and understand. I do things, don't worry. God Lord Sword Feather assured. Chapter 636 The Forgotten Pan Yunxing. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. God Lord Sword Feather ended the conversation with the Lord of Yandao, and immediately sealed the original sword tool and 50 kilograms of chaotic rare earths in a box, and immediately dispatched an ordinary galaxy-level deacon to Panyangxing in secret. On the way to Panyangxing, true monarch Tifeng looked at the box in his hand and seemed curious. Sect Master asked me to send this box to Panyangxing, and I will give it to the disciples who guard Panyangxing. What is the use of this box? And isn't Panyangxing sealed? With the strength of the sect master, unless it is the god of the universe, the seal can't be broken, so why send someone to guard it? Although he was very puzzled, he naturally had to do what the Lord Sword Feather had instructed. And, being able to be deeply favored by the sect master, personally instructing to do things, and doing it secretly, must be a respect for him. Maybe I can be reused by the sect master in the future. Even if I don't have the opportunity to become a galaxy class in the future, I can still revitalize the family. Tifeng Zhenjin thought. However, what Zhenjin Tifeng didn't notice was that a pair of eyes were staring at him. Undead Legion Headquarters. 29 Yi Tian's eyes stared at true monarch Tifeng, but he didn't care too much. Because there are many people he pays attention to at the same time, and true monarch Tifeng is just one of them. However, when true monarch Tifeng entered the area where Pan Yongxing was located, his attention was largely focused on true monarch Tifeng. A galaxy-level powerhouse goes to Panyan Star. Yi Tian continued to stare. Soon, Zhenjin Tifeng came to Pan Yongxing. Disk Cloud Star. After Zhenjin Tifeng came here, he shouted, I am Zhenjin Tifeng, the deacon of the Sword Emperor sect. I am here with the orders of the sect master to send things here. Please come out to receive the disciples of the Sword Emperor sect stationed in Panyan Star. Suddenly, a figure walked out from the sealed Pan Yongxing. This person was covered in black robes, wearing a mask, and his breath was close to nothing. When Zhenjin Tifeng saw this scene, he suddenly realized that something was wrong. How could a normal Sword Emperor sect disciple dress up like this, and the aura of this person could not even be peeped by him, and there was even a touch of oppression. This man is very strong. True monarch Tifeng said. However, he believed that the suzerain would not harm him, so he was not afraid. But at this moment, the man in black robe opened his mouth and said, if things are left, people have to stay too. 1. Puff. The man in black robe slashed away. In an instant, true monarch Tifeng was killed, his body turned into ashes, and the box fell into the hands of the black-robed man. Next moment, the man in black robe entered Pan Yongxing and disappeared. Undead Legion headquarters. Yi Tian also noticed the scene of Pan Yongxing, and did not attract the attention of the black-robed man. The emissary of the town area was created by the Supremes. Even the top cosmos gods couldn't sense the prying of the emissary token of the town area. Only the powerhouse who dominated the realm could sense the spying of the emissary of the town area. Therefore, the black-robed man couldn't sense it at all. One shot kills the galaxy level. Although it is only through the envoy of the town to spy on the screen and cannot perceive the opponent's cultivation base, it is definitely not the galaxy level, but the powerhouse above the galaxy level, and the opponent is from the galaxy level body of the Sword Emperor sect. Taking away a box, the inside of this box must be something important. Pan Yongxing was sealed by the god of Sword Feather. Without the permission of god of Sword Feather, Xinghe level cannot enter Pan Yongxing, but this person can freely enter and exit the disc. Cloud Star. Yi Tian showed a smile. He had roughly judged the position of the Yandao Lord, and it was in Pan Yongxing. Pan Yongxing, a place that is almost forgotten, and has the seal of the Sword Feather God, other people can't get in. And a place that is sealed, and is sealed by the Sword Feather God, the Sword Feather God sent someone to go. Pan Yongxing is also very reasonable. If Yandao God hides in Pan Yongxing, it will be very easy to contact with Yandao God and send things. Go in, it's a very nice place. Yi Tian muttered. Immediately, Yi Tian ended his manipulation of the envoy order from the town. Everything is back to normal. Wow, the undead lord appeared beside Yi Tian and asked. The Lord of 10,000 Laws stopped manipulating the emissary order of the town so soon. Could it be that he has already confirmed the position of the Lord of the Sword? Good, Yi Tian nodded. If I didn't guess wrong, Lord Yandao should be in Pan Yongxing. Pan Yongxing, is that the place where the Yun family was sealed by the Sword Feather God himself? The road of the undead army. Yes, that's it, Yi Tian nodded. Will the true monarch of 10,000 Laws report to the Divine Blade Alliance? Said the leader of the undead army. No hurry, Yi Tian said with a smile. It's just a guess now, and I can't be sure. Besides, if I catch the Flame Sword God in person, wouldn't it be possible to get more rewards from the Divine Blade Alliance? The undead lord frowned and said, the true monarch of 10,000 Laws, the lord of the Flame Blade is very likely to break through to the realm of the cosmic god, even if the true monarch of 10,000 Laws can leapfrog and fight, but if he faces the cosmic god. Obviously, he doesn't know much about Yi Tian's strength, otherwise he would never say these words. Undead Army Lord, don't worry, I have my senses. In addition, I also know your difficulties. After all, Lord Yandao is the younger brother of God Lord Sword Feather. If you make a move, you will definitely offend the Sword Emperor sect, even if the Sword Emperor sect has protection. The sin, but this is a matter of the Divine Blade Alliance, and it has nothing to do with you. Therefore, it is not good for you to be involved. I will deal with this matter myself. Reason, the undead lord does not need to struggle. Yi hurriedly said, True Monarch Wanfa, you'd better think about it, it's just a task, there's no need to put yourself in danger. The undead lord tried to persuade, but Yi Tian still insisted on going to Pan Yongxing. Then, Yi Tian left. Looking at the back of Yi Tian's departure, the undead army lord murmured, I still want to take a look at 010, if there is something wrong with the true monarch of Wanfa, if I save him, it will be a life-saving grace, just to let him I owe me a chance. In the future, if he becomes a high-level human race, wouldn't it be possible for me to go further? Swish. The undead army master also followed, but from a distance. Yi Tian's spaceship was very fast, and instantly shuttled to the area near Panyan Star. Then, Yi Tian flew to Panyangxing. Disk Cloud Star. Yi Tian looked at the sealed star, which had the sealing power of the Sword Feather Lord, and almost wrapped the entire Panyan Star into a light cluster, like a small sun. Under the blessing of this sealing power, powerhouses below the galaxy level cannot approach Panyangxing at all. But for Yi Tian, the power of this seal is too weak. But no matter how weak the seal was, Yi Tian couldn't pass through the seal silently. Currently, he has only two options. The first method is to find out the loopholes in the seal or the method of the seal, so that the seal can be manipulated into Panyan Star. The second method is to directly break the seal, so there is no need to enter Panyangxing. The first method can't be done, unless you spend a lot of the world to analyze the seal, or ask the Sword Feather God for the seal method, which is unrealistic. Then use the second method, violent but direct. Yi Tian said. Chapter 637 Defeating the God of the Universe. One more. If it is the seal arranged by the Master, I can't break it, but unfortunately it is just a seal arranged by a new universe god, it is still too weak. Yi Tian looked at the seal outside Panyan Star and muttered. Sky Moon Knife. Yi Tian held the Yuan knife tool and slashed towards Panyangxing with one knife. He grasped the power very skillfully, guaranteeing to only destroy the seal, not Panyangxing. Although he had a gap with Panyan Xingyan's family, it was not to the point of destroying the other's clan. Moreover, his current goal is to face the entire human race, and even all races in the universe. How can he care about such a small force as the Panyan Xingyan family? This time, his target is the Flame Sword God. Confirm the existence of the Flame Sword God and notify the Divine Blade Alliance. If you personally catch the Flame Sword God, it is naturally the best. Boom! The Tianyu knife chi bombarded the seal of Panyangxing, making a violent explosion. Then, the seal of Panyangxing cracked. Disk Cloud Star. Everyone in the Yun family was cultivating when they suddenly sensed Panyangxing's vibration, as if the whole world was about to split, causing panic. The supreme elder of the Yun family, Piaoyu, also sensed the change, and his divine sense scanned the entire Panyangxing and quickly noticed the crack of the seal. Don't panic, the seal is broken. Piaoyu Allah. What? The seal is broken. Could it be that the Sword Emperor sect is going to release our Yun family? That's great. Ha ha ha, the seal is broken, we don't have to hide in Panyangxing anymore, I'm leaving Panyangxing. The seal is gone, I'm finally free. The Yun family members cried with joy, but the Yun family's grand elder, Piaoyu, did not smile but frowned fiercely. He knew very well that it was impossible for Sword Emperor sect to lift the seal now, and the person stationed in Panyangxing never mentioned the matter of lifting the seal. Moreover, he sensed the crack of the seal, and also sensed a strong blade chi, that force almost suffocated him. That sword is so powerful. Wow! A figure appeared in the sky. This person was wearing a black robe, with a strange aura, and he was the Lord of the Flame Sword. Piaoyu Allah immediately flew in front of this person and said respectfully, Sir, what happened, why is the seal gone? Someone attacked the seal. Yandao Allah. What? Someone attacked the seal, what's going on? Piaoyu Allah was shocked. He knew very well that there was no way for a galaxy-level power to break the seal. Maybe it was the god of the universe. This person broke the seal, whether to save the Panyan Xingyan family or deal with the Panyan Xingyan family. But the Panyan Nebula family doesn't know other universe gods. Swish! Lord Yandao flew out of Panyangxing, and Lord Piaoyu followed closely, and some galaxy-level elders of the Yun family also flew out. Disk Cloud Star. Yi Tian stood there, looking at Allah Yandao, Allah Piaoyu and the others flew out one by one. For the first time, Yi Tian used the copy talent to check the talent of the Yandao Lord. In an instant, Yi Tian confirmed the identity of the Yandao Lord. Sure enough, it is the Lord of the Flame Sword, but he is not a galaxy level but a cosmic god. No matter how much he hides it, his soul cannot hide it. Although his soul is very weak, it has an immortal aura, which is clearly a sign of eternal life. He has already broken through to the realm of the universe god, but the realm is not stable. 1 inch. Yi Tian secretly said. The Lord of Flame Sword stared at Yi Tian with a puzzled look. Galaxy level. He was very surprised. How could a galaxy level ant break the seal, unless Yi Tian did not break it, but someone else? Your Highness. Piaoyu Allah shouted in shock. What? He is His Highness Wanfa. Allah Yandao looked at Allah Piaoyu in surprise. My lord, he is Our Highness Wanfa of Panyu, and he entered the supreme hall of the human race. Our Yun family offended him and was sealed. God Piaoyu said cautiously. His Royal Highness, the supreme human race and the one who crushed all races, you are now at the galaxy level, and you should have left the human race supreme hall. Presumably, the ruler guard and the cosmic god guards around you have stayed in the human race supreme hall, and now are you alone? Yandao Allah, that's right, I am indeed alone now, without any guards. The Lord of the Flame Blade, no, I should call you the Lord of the Flame Blade. Could it be that you want to kill me? Yi Tian said with a smile. You know me. The face of the god of Flame Blade changed greatly. You must have taken the mission of the God Blade Alliance. It seems that your target is not the Yun family, but me. I'm very curious, how did you do it? Found here. God Lord Yandao, I still have a position in Panyu, and that is the envoy of the town. Yi Tian said, emissary of the town. The Lord of Yandao suddenly realized. I understand, you were spied on by the messenger of the town. It seems that the disciple of the Sword Emperor sect attracted you just now. Unfortunately, you should not come alone, instead, you should notify the Divine Blade Alliance first. But you are also right, you think your strength is very strong, and you can kill others by leapfrogging. But I am not at the galaxy level, but in the cosmic god realm. Boom, the cosmic divine coercion on Ala Yandao was released. Immediately, everyone in the Yun family was so suppressed that they could hardly move. So strong, Piaoyu Allah exclaimed in surprise. Before, he felt that the God Lord of the Flame Blade was very strong, and he had been subdued by one move, but he still didn't know the identity of the God Lord of the Flame Blade and his status in the Sword Emperor sect. He only knew that he absolutely could not offend the God Master Yandao, otherwise he would definitely die. Only now did he know that the God of Flame Blade was actually a god of the universe. The Sword Emperor sect has 2 universe gods. Piaoyu Allah thinks so. Haha, Your Highness Wanfa, you claim that you will become the Supreme in the future. It is rumored that the Supreme God of the Divine Blade Alliance commented that you are the first genius in the history of the human race, and you are expected to become the strongest Supreme in the future. If you are the strongest Supreme in the future, if you die in my hands, will the human race go crazy? I can't stay in the human race any longer. If I take your head and go to the Protoss, can the Protoss pay the price to change the race for me and make me a Protoss, a member? The Lord of the Flame Blade said madly. Immediately, he shot the great flame extinguishing knife. Boom. The terrifying knife almost smashed the rules of heaven and earth, stirred this galaxy, and made the whole galaxy tremble. And Pan Yunxing was about to shatter, and countless Yun family members were shaken to death. Seeing this scene, God Piaoyu's eyes were full of hideous eyes, but he did not dare to question the God of Flame Blade, otherwise the entire Yun family would die under the wrath of God Lord of Flame Blade. He could only do his best to protect Pan Yunxing and the rest of the Yun family. Not far away, Yi Tian looked at the attack of the God of Flame Blade, and said lightly, God of the universe, God of Flame Blade, do you think you can defeat me by becoming a God of the universe? Today, I will let you know what a frog at the bottom of a well is. Sky Moon Knife. Yi Tian slashed over with a knife. Boom, the 2 sword chi collided, and the great flame extinguishing sword of the God Lord of Yandao collapsed instantly. Impossible. The Lord of Flame Sword was shocked, but he still stimulated his original armor, trying to block Yi Tian's sword energy, but he was still hit and threw it out. Next moment, Yi Tian used the great supernatural power of space, the Spear of Hell God. Go! The Spear of Hell Shenkong hit the God Lord of the Flame Sword at an incredible speed and penetrated the body of the God Lord of the Flame Sword. During the breath, the body of the God Lord of the Flame Blade was annihilated by most of the body. But as a cosmic god and a former member of the Divine Blade Alliance, he still had a lot of life-saving things on his body, and he still survived in the end. But even so, he was seriously injured and dying, and he was powerless to fight. Unexpected, a big hand appeared above the Lord of the Flame Blade, grabbed the Lord of the Flame Blade all at once, and ingested it into the virtual world in the center of the palm. Get 10. Yi Tian put away his palm and muttered. In the distance, Ala Piaoyu and the others shrank their pupils, revealing an incredible look. His Royal Highness, I defeated a cosmic god. Chapter 638 Coming to the Sword Emperor sect. Second update. Everyone in the Yun family was dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. The Lord of the Flame Blade, that is a cosmic god. In Panyu, the cosmic god can open up a great existence of an overlord-level force, which is almost invincible. Compared with the universe god, the galaxy level is like an ant facing the gods, and Yi Tian is not even a galaxy level, he is just a galaxy level powerhouse. But now, Yi Tian easily defeated the God Lord of the Flame Blade with his galaxy-level cultivation base, and even captured the God Lord of the Flame Blade. In an instant, God Piaoyu and the others lowered their heads one by one, not daring to look at Yi Tian. The Yun family will continue to be sealed, Yi Tian said coldly. Next, everyone in the Yun family was driven back to Pan Yunxing by Yi Tian. Then, Yi Tian personally arranged the seal and sealed Pan Yunxing again. Then, Yi Tian waited in the void. After a few hours, Yi Tian estimated and said, "The people from the Divine Blade Alliance should be here soon." Sure enough, it didn't take long for the people from the Divine Blade Alliance to come. Woohoo! In the void, a spaceship appeared. Immediately, 2 universe gods flew down from the spaceship. These 2 cosmic gods are not ordinary cosmic gods, their cultivation bases are both at the peak of cosmic gods, and their combat power is also very powerful, far from being comparable to the cosmic gods in the Panyu region. I have seen the true monarch Wanfa. I have seen the true monarch Wanfa. When these 2 universe gods saw Yi Tian, they said "Oh 1 oh" very politely. Obviously, they knew Yi Tian and knew Yi Tian's identity, so they didn't dare to make trouble. It turned out to be the God Lord Jinming and the God Lord Yinming of the Divine Blade Alliance. Yi Tian also said politely, "True monarch Wanfa, let's talk about the business. You said that you discovered the Lord of the Sword, but I don't know where he is now." God Lord Jinming asked. "It's here." Yi Tian spread out his palm and released the God Lord of the Flame Blade. When the God Lord Jinming and the God Lord Yinming saw the dying God Lord Yandao, they were immediately alarmed. The Lord of the Flame Blade, no, he has broken through to the realm of the Universe God. God Lord Jinming was surprised. Immediately, he looked at Yi Tian in surprise. The God Lord of the Flame Blade has become the realm of the Universe God, and Yi Tian is only at the galaxy level. But Yi Tian has captured the God Lord of the Flame Blade alive, which is incredible. Quote. God Lord Jinming and Yinming God looked to the other side of the void. At this time, the undead army master took the initiative to appear and said, "I have seen the Jinming God and the Yinming God. This matter has nothing to do with me. I didn't take action, it was the true monarch Wanfa who captured the Yandao God with minor injuries." This time, the Jinming and Yinming were completely stunned. Only then did they truly realize how terrifying Yi Tian's combat power was. Only a galaxy-level cultivation base possessed the power of a universe god. I not only discovered the God Lord Jinming, the God Lord Yinming, and the God Lord Yandao, but I also caught it myself. It should be considered that the task has been completed, right? Yi Tian asked. Of course, God Lord Jinming said quickly. Immediately, the Lord Jinming and the Lord Yinming invited Yi Tian to return to the Divine Blade Alliance to hand over the task. Yi Tian left with the God Lord Jinming and the God Lord Yinming. The undead lord looked at Yi Tian's departure and sighed deeply. The power of the true monarch of 10,000 laws is far from being able to understand. Those sons of the universe are simply ants compared to him. No wonder the supreme hall of the human race treats him his evaluation is so high. Maybe his real strength is not much weaker than mine, and he can even surpass me soon. However, this is a good thing. He at least established a good relationship with Yi Tian, and there is still hope that he will be supported by Yi Tian in the future. Thinking of this, he smiled happily. Sanctuary. Divine Blade Alliance, Tianlin Branch. Since Panyu has a teleportation stone gate directly to Tianlin Giant City, it is the most convenient to come to the Tianlin Branch. Immediately, with the assistance of God Lord Jinming and Yinming God, Yi Tian successfully handed over the task, and also took back the original sword tool and chaotic rare earth from the hands of God Yandao. Certainly, Yi Tian also received 3 rewards of the heavenly Tao of Swords, and because he captured the Yandao Allah himself, he completed the additional quest, and obtained the Galaxy Mission Order of the God Blade Alliance and 100,000 God Blade points. The Xinghe quest order allows Yi Tian to leapfrog to take over the quests belonging to the Xinghe rank, and 100,000 Divine Blade points are also very precious, which can be used to purchase many treasures of the Divine Blade Alliance. In short, Yi Tian made a lot of money this time. After completing this task, Yi Tian continued to return to Panyu, because he still had some things to deal with. CJFI. Sword Emperor Sect, the Divine Blade Alliance doesn't care about you, a weak force, and is too lazy to deal with you. But I can't let it go. If the Sword Feather God chooses to take revenge on me, even if it can't hurt me, if it hurts the earth and my relatives, this is absolutely not allowed. Yi Tian muttered. He is going to visit the Sword Emperor Sect in person to deal with future troubles. Panyu, the headquarters of the Sword Emperor Sect. Divine Master Sword Feather sat on the throne, and his whole body was trembling. He had already received the news that his younger brother, God Lord Yandao, had been caught. Will the Divine Blade Alliance sanction me? If the Divine Blade Alliance issues an order, I will surely die. God Lord Sword Feather thought. The Divine Blade Alliance just wants to capture my younger brother, and I have not betrayed the human race, and the Divine Blade Alliance cannot represent the human race, so they have no right to punish me, and they are too lazy to deal with me, right? After all, in their eyes, I am just an ant. Thinking of this, God Lord Sword Feather felt a little relieved. But he was still very afraid, for fear that the powerhouse of the Divine Blade Alliance would come. Time passed little by little. This day, a figure stepped into the front of the Sword Emperor sect, and the aura of Xiao Xia permeated the Sword Emperor sect. This person is Yi Tian. Let God Lord Sword Feather come out. Yi Tian said solemnly. Who dares to trespass the Sword Emperor sect? A roar came. Wow! Sword Emperor sect's Haiyu Sword Master appeared and looked directly at Yi Tian. Your Highness Wanfa, it's you. Hey, your cultivation speed is quite fast, and you have already reached the pinnacle of the galaxy level. Sword Master Haiyu said in surprise. Sword Master Haiyu, let God Master Sword Feather come out. Yi Tian said coldly. If you want to meet the Lord Sword Feather God, you are not qualified. I heard that the Human Race Supreme Hall only trains His Highnesses at the Great God level and below. You are now at the Galaxy level, so you are no longer the Highness of the Human Race Supreme Hall. No, with the Human Race Supreme Palace as a backer, even if I bully you, the Human Race Supreme Palace will not be able to punish me. Do you think you are still blessed by the human race? The Black Secluded Sword Master said. One more word, let God Lord Sword Feather come out. Yi Tian said solemnly. Whoa whoa whoa. More and more Sword Emperor sect disciples, deacons, and elders came out, watching the excitement one by one. They are not afraid. After all, how can a galaxy class be able to control the Sword Emperor sect? You are not eligible, Sword Master Haiyu said coldly. Haiyu Sword Master below commits a crime, dare to disrespect the envoy of the town, and suppress it. Yi Tian's voice filled the air. Next moment, a chaotic big hand descended, crushing it towards the Sword Master Haiyu. Not good. Sword Master Haiyu was shocked, and immediately stabbed with all his strength. However, compared with Yi Tian, his attack power was simply cloud and mud. The blade was shattered, and Yi Tian slapped him to death with no resistance, and even the small world inside his body was shattered. Sword Master Haiyu, abolished. True Monarch Wanfa, you have passed. The angry voice of the Sword Feather Lord resounded throughout the Sword Emperor sect. The next moment, the Divine Master Sword Feather descended and appeared in front of Yi Tian. Chapter 639 God Lord Sword Feather, Destroy. Open black lens bracket. One more close black lens bracket. Meet the Lord of Sword Feather. Meet the Lord of Sword Feather. Meet the Lord of Sword Feather. Countless disciples, deacons, and elders of the Sword Emperor sect bowed and worshipped. The Divine Master Sword Feather nodded slightly, and immediately stared at Yi Tian, his eyes filled with murderous intent. But he held back and did not shoot Yi Tian. True Monarch Wanfa, you trespassed into the Sword Emperor sect and rewarded the Sword Master Haiyu. Wouldn't you think too much of our Sword Emperor sect? The Sword Feather God Master asked. Sword Feather God, I should question you. The Flame Blade God betrayed the God Blade Alliance, even killed some members of the God Blade Alliance, seized some resources and fled. This kind of behavior not only angered the God Blade Alliance, but also belonged to the God Blade Alliance. If you violate the laws of the human race, you are a criminal belonging to the human race. And you take in the Lord of the Sword, which is equivalent to covering up a crime. According to the laws of the human race, as the envoy of Pan Yu, I have the right to interrogate you and even punish you. Yi Tian said. Law, it's ridiculous, I'm the god of the universe, can the mere law restrict me? Besides, you have evidence to say that I'm covering up the God Lord of the Flame Blade because he's my younger brother. God Lord Sword Feather sneered. The Sword Feather God and the Flame Sword God entered the interior of Pan Yunxing, and the seal of Pan Yunxing was arranged by you. Even if it is the God of the universe, it is impossible for him to enter the Panyan Star silently. It must be you who gave the seal, he can come and go freely. Therefore, I believe that you have shielded the Lord of the Flame Blade. You may not admit it, but I have a way to confirm the truth. I can ask a lord to use illusion to interrogate you. If you don't believe it, you won't admit it. Yi Tian said, quote. Divine Master Sword Feather panicked. He believed that Yi Tian could hire a master who was proficient in illusion, and an illusion master could easily interrogate him about covering up the God Lord of the Flame Blade. True monarch Wanfa, you are only a galaxy level, and I am the god of the universe. Even if you are the envoy of the town, you are not qualified to arrest me. If you don't leave again, I will be welcome. God Lord Swordfeather threatened. He was even motivated to kill, and he was very aware of Yi Tian's position in the human race. But if Yi Tian died, a dead genius would have no value, and the high-level human race would not necessarily punish him. If he could not do it, he didn't want to do it either, but looking at Yi Tian's posture, he must be looking for trouble. What the Swordfeather God Lord feared was not Yi Tian, but the Divine Blade Alliance. Now the Divine Blade Alliance will not necessarily trouble him, because they don't care about him at all, but if Yi Tian intervenes, the Divine Blade Alliance might also intervene. By then, he will be finished. The Divine Blade Alliance is a supreme power. What a behemoth, one finger can crush him and the Sword Emperor sect. Master Swordfeather, give you a choice, either cooperate with my investigation, or don't blame me for being rude. Yi Tian said in a very arrogant tone. Before Divine Master Swordfeather made a move, an elder of the Sword Emperor sect couldn't help it. True monarch Wanfa, you are too arrogant, how dare you disrespect the Swordfeather god of our Sword Emperor sect. An old man stepped into the void and pointed at Yi Tian with a long sword. The power of Kendo was on the long sword, obviously reaching the realm of the shape of Kendo. To be able to comprehend a Tao to the realm of the shape of the Tao is very remarkable. Many cosmic gods have not reached such a realm, but this old man has achieved it. It can be seen that he has studied too deeply in Kendo. It's the great elder Sword Demon Lord. The first elder is out of the gate. It is rumored that the Lord Swordfeather God's strength is similar to that of the first elder before breaking through to the realm of the universe god. The strength of the first elder can definitely be ranked in the top 3 in our Sword Emperor sect. It's a pity that the talent of the first elder is limited, and he can't reach the realm of the universe god, and his lifespan is not long. If the first elder makes a move, the true monarch of 10,000 laws must leave with a grey face and a grey face. HMPH, the Lord Swordfeather is a god of the universe, and I'm embarrassed to bully the small. I really think that our Sword Emperor sect can tolerate him being so presumptuous, not. Seeing that the great elder Sword Demon God made a move, the Swordfeather God hesitated for a while, but did not stop it. He also wanted to know what Yi Tian's strength was. Although Yi Tian's cultivation was only at the galaxy level, he couldn't measure Yi Tian with his ordinary highness. It's a pity that the Swordfeather God Master didn't even know that Yi Tian had captured the Yan Dao God Master alone, otherwise he would have been so frightened that he would have fled. Puff! The great elder Sword Demon Lord stabbed Yi Tian with a sword, like a golden streamer, approaching the extreme. Roll! Yi Tian didn't even use a knife, and patted it with one hand. Boom! Sword Demon Lord's long sword flew out, and the whole person was also knocked flying, crashing into the formation of Sword Emperor sect. Puff puff! The Sword Demon God spit out a few mouthfuls of blood, his breath was sluggish, and his injuries were quite serious. This is Yi Tian's mercy, otherwise, he can kill a galaxy level like Sword Demon God at will. Big Elder. For flowers. Several disciples flew over, helped the first elder up, and fed some healing medicine pills to the first elder. At this time, many people in the Sword Emperor sect were surprised. Before, Yi Tian defeated Haiyu Sword Master in seconds, although shocked, it was far inferior to now. The Sword Master Haiyu is far from being the opponent of the great elder Sword Demon God. The Sword Demon God himself has reached the pinnacle of the galaxy level, and he has cultivated for a long time. He is far superior to the Sword Master Haiyu in Kendo and other aspects. But even such a powerful Sword Demon God is not Yi Tian's opponent. So strong. Divine Master Swordfeather frowned. He really couldn't understand how the galaxy level could be so powerful, and Yi Tian was still very young. True Monarch Wanfa, do you really want to be my enemy? 0.0. God Lord Swordfeather asked. Good. Yi Tian was too lazy to make excuses and said directly. Very good. God Lord Swordfeather said angrily. He knew that he had no choice but to take action. If he was holding back, what was his majesty, and what was the majesty of the Sword Emperor sect? Sword Rain. The Swordfeather God Lord made a bold move, and countless sword lights fell like raindrops, but the speed was countless times faster. Every sword light is enough to annihilate a galaxy level, and this kendo technique with full strength can even annihilate a large starry sky. The disciples of the Sword Emperor sect had never seen the Swordfeather Divine Master take action with all his strength, and when they saw it, they were all stunned. However, just when they were amazed at the mighty power of the Swordfeather God, Yi Tian also shot. 5 Elements Divine Wheel. The huge 5 Elements Divine Wheel protected Yi Tian, No matter how terrifying the sword light was, there was no way to break Yi Tian's defense. Then, Yi Tian stretched his fingers, and a black lotus appeared. Black Lotus Realm. The Black Lotus turned into a Black Lotus world, wrapping the Sword Feather God Lord. Not good. God Lord Sword Feather was terrified and felt an unprecedented crisis. He broke out various secret techniques, trying to break out of the Black Lotus Realm. But at this time, Yi Tian gently urged the Black Lotus Realm, and the inner space of the Black Lotus Realm was annihilated. The next moment, the Black Lotus Realm disappeared, and the void was incomparably silent, leaving only the fragments of some weapons or secret treasures. As for the trace of the Sword Feather Divine Master, it can no longer be found. Master Sword Feather, you are only the second rank of the Cosmic God. If you reach the pinnacle of the Cosmic God, it may make me jealous. Yi Tian said lightly. Chapter 640 Desolate World. Second update. Yi Tian's words, the Sword Feather Divine Master could not hear, because the Sword Feather Divine Master had completely fallen under Yi Tian's chaotic true skill, the Black Lotus Realm, and vanished. At this time, everyone in the Sword Emperor sect was stunned. They looked around one by one, looking for the trace of the Sword Feather Divine Master, but they couldn't find it. At this moment, a glorious statue in the depths of the Sword Emperor sect collapsed suddenly. The statue was forged by God Lord Sword Feather himself, and it was also refined by God Lord Sword Feather, similar to the effect of a soul lamp. Now, the Sword Feather Divine Lord has fallen, and the statue has collapsed. The statue has collapsed, and the Lord of Sword Feather has fallen. An elder let out a mournful cry. Immediately, the Sword Emperor sect panicked. He is so strong. Everyone looked at Yi Tian in horror. Sword Master Haiyu is not Yi Tian's opponent. Great Elder Sword Demon Lord is not Yi Tian's opponent, and even you, 010, Eternal God Sword Feather God is not Yi Tian's opponent, and he was killed by Yi Tian. They don't want to believe it, but they have to. Immediately, the Sword Emperor sect trembled. They were very afraid that Yi Tian would start killing and destroy the Sword Emperor sect. Yi Tian can kill the Sword Feather God Lord, and naturally has the ability to destroy the entire Sword Emperor sect. However, they think too much. Yi Tian did not have the idea of destroying the Sword Emperor sect, otherwise he would leave the life of the Sword Master Haiyu and the Sword Demon Lord. You don't have to worry, the Sword Emperor sect protects the Lord Yandao, and I will kill him. Since you have nothing to do with this matter, I will naturally not kill you. But in the future, if you do anything against the rules, I will act as Panyu. The envoy of the town area will definitely not be lenient. Leaving these words, Yi Tian teleported away. After Yi Tian left, the Sword Emperor sect breathed a sigh of relief. Although Divine Master Sword Feather died, Sword Emperor sect's vitality was severely damaged, and he would even fall from the Overlord level forces, but Sword Emperor sect and his own life were intact. That is the best result. Recall the disciples of the Sword Emperor sect to go out and seal the sect for a period of time. The seriously injured Sword Demon Lord slowly opened his mouth and said. Yes, everyone in the Sword Emperor sect responded. Soon, the news of the fall of the Sword Feather Divine Lord spread out, which shocked the other 4 Overlord level forces in Panyu. Undead Legion Headquarters. When the Undead Army Master heard the news, he murmured, the true monarch of 10,000 laws is really decisive, and he does not leave any trouble for himself. The Lord of Sword Feather is naturally dead, and he has offended the true monarch of 10,000 laws. And because of covering up the Lord of Yandao, he provoked the true monarch of 10,000 laws, and provoked it twice in a row. How could the true monarch of 10,000 laws keep you as a calamity? 1. Divine Desolate Hall, Heartless Valley, and Eternal Ancient Sect knew Yi Tian's strength one by one, and they also ordered to go on, absolutely not allowed to provoke Yi Tian. After Yi Tian killed the Sword Feather God, he did not stay in Panyu, but returned to the sanctuary Tianlin Giant City. Next, Yi Tian started a period of retreat. He is ready to digest the 3 Tao of Sword characters, and if he can use the characters of the 3 Tao of Swords to create the ultimate swordsmanship, that would be a real big progress. Retreat begins. Years passed, Yi Tian refined the words of the Tao of Heaven of the Blade, constantly comprehended the law of the blade and the origin of the sword, and even comprehended the Tao of the blade in combination with the Tao of Chaos. In the environment of 1000 times time acceleration, Yi Tian has spent a long time. In the blink of an eye, 100 years have passed in the outside world, and Yi Tian, with the acceleration of time, is equivalent to cultivating and comprehending 100,000 years. Now, Yi Tian has long exhausted the power of the 3 sword heavenly Tao words. As for the ultimate swordsmanship, Yi Tian still hasn't created it, but it's only a tiny inch away. His Heavenly Moonsaber's unique skill has been infinitely perfected to the point where it is infinitely close to the Zeon-level swordsman's unique skill, and its power is much stronger than before. In other respects, Yi Tian also made some progress, but the progress was not great. The further back one is in cultivation, it is very difficult to make even a little progress. For example, for the Supreme Beings, there may be no progress at all in millions of years. This day, Yi Tian was in retreat, and his wife Xiao Yu came. "Yuei, what's wrong?" Yi Tian asked with concern. He knows very well that his wife, if there is no major event, will never disturb his practice. Obviously, something happened, or something important came to him. "Husband, I have been paying attention to the intelligence of the Divine Blade Alliance. I just got news that the Divine Blade Alliance has released a mission to go to the deserted world to collect something, and the reward is to enter the Divine Blade Alliance Zeon Supreme Treasure Warblade World. I've been practicing for a while, so I'm here to tell my husband." Xiao Yu said quickly. "What, enter the Warblade World to practice?" Yi Tian was excited. The Warblade World is not a world, but the name of the Zeon Supreme Treasure, but this Zeon Supreme Treasure is very special. The source is a real big opportunity for the swordsman. But the Warblade World is the foundation of the Divine Blade Alliance, and it is also the treasure of the Divine Blade Supreme. It is not easy for people to enter it for cultivation, because too many people enter the Warblade World to cultivate, it will consume the source of the strong and supreme treasure. It will take some time to repair the power of the Zeon Supreme Treasure. And the war will break out at any time, and the Zeon Supreme Treasure of the human race will not be easily worn out, otherwise it will easily cause huge losses. But this time, the world of war blades allows people to enter into enlightenment, which is a very rare thing. Desert World. Yi Tian had never heard of this name, but it was a great opportunity to enter the Warblade World to practice, and he did not want to give up. So, Yi Tian hurriedly ended the retreat and entered the Divine Blade Alliance branch to inquire about this mission. No one, Yi Tian's mission situation this time has also passed the situation of the world. The barren world turned out to be the site of a group of congenital gods. Yi Tian frowned. According to rumors, there are thousands of innate gods in the deserted world, and the most powerful group is comparable to the Supreme. Therefore, the deserted world can also be regarded as a powerful force. The wild world is rich in resources, but it is very hostile to foreign forces, and there are not many creatures in the wild world, but those innate gods have created many races. These races are completely created according to their appearance, and these races have gradually grown. A lot of strong people. It stands to reason that the human race should not provoke the barren world, but there are some resources in the barren world that all races in the universe need, and even crave madly. But it is impossible to rush into a war with the barren world. 5.8. After all, the thousands of innate gods in the barren world have the lowest cultivation level and are all the gods of the universe, and there are not a few supreme beings. Moreover, in the barren world, the innate gods can mobilize the power of the barren world, and ordinary supreme beings can compete with powerful supreme beings. But this time, the Divine Blade Alliance was in desperate need of a material from the barren world, so it released this mission, requiring some galaxy-level and galaxy-level powerhouses to enter the barren world to search for this material. Certainly, galaxy-level and Xinghe-level entering the barren world is not a death sentence. The various races in the universe have made agreements with the innate gods in the barren world. Compared with the 10,000 races in the entire universe, the deserted world is still an ant, and naturally compromised. Therefore, although the galaxy-level and galaxy-level entering the wasteland is dangerous, there is still a chance to survive. Yi Tian pondered for a while, then decided to accept this mission.